Here are your hosts, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin and Brett Stats Norsworthy.
Welcome in on this gorgeous Tuesday. I was on my way into the Flynn Broadcasting Center early today. I had a Zoom call with Ron Hunter, who is the Tulane basketball coach. I knew it was going to be cutting close, so I decided I would just come here and do it. And about 5 minutes before I got to the Flynn Broadcasting Center, my phone blew up, literally. And the news was trickling across the airwaves that Tiger Woods had gotten into an accident. The first thing I thought of, Brett Norsworthy, was when I was in a Tulsa press box several years ago. This occurred during what we thought was, at that point, a serious auto injury. Was really him backing up into a fire plug, and his wife coming after him with a 5-iron, apparently, they said. And that turned out not to be so serious, but we didn't know it at the time. And you were one of the first people I can remember that had texted me or contacted me, and we had talked. This was right around Thanksgiving, and I can't remember the year. I know you do. And we thought,
2009, the day after Thanksgiving.
We thought, oh my goodness, this is crushing to the.
Well, CBS reported that day it was life-threatening.
Yeah, and then today, the first reports were of a very serious magnitude, and it is very serious. If you have seen pictures of the car down this little ravine where Tiger today had to be taken out of that car with the jaws of life, you understand how serious it is. Michael Eaves, who used to work for ABC 24 and is now a very good reporter.
And Sports 56.
And Sports, that's right, and Sports 56 with Greg Gaston, and is a fine reporter for ESPN and anchor. He has reported the injuries that Tiger sustained today in a one-car accident are not life-threatening, but they are severe enough. They are multiple leg injuries that they are requiring surgery, and he is in surgery at this moment. I am certain more details will emerge as this show progresses. We will keep you informed on all of that. We were just talking yesterday about the interview he did with Jim Nantz at the tournament that he hosts, the Genesis at Riviera. He is the celebrity host now, was a playing host, at least initially was supposed to be. And he spoke with Jim Nantz and was asked about his Masters plans, and basically he said, I had no idea because his back was still in convalescence from the past surgeries, and he hadn't picked up a club yet except for a putter, and that he just did not know. So he wasn't committing to anything, and you and I think the world basically started to think, okay, he is not going to play in Augusta. I think today we know for sure now, with multiple surgeries, on multiple leg injuries from this accident, that was a very serious accident, that he would most likely be very doubtful to be playing in Augusta. We just hope that he is able to recover completely at some point. And that is the latest that we have gotten, honestly, on this story, is that I think it was about 7:30 L.A. time, so about 9:30 Memphis time, single car. They had to extract him from the vehicle with the jaws of life. They took him to the hospital. He went into surgery. It is not life-threatening, thank goodness, and that's really all we know. It has obviously been a difficult stretch for Tiger, and it could be the last time that we ever see Tiger Woods play any kind of golf. Will be with his son in the father-son, where everybody around the world was enchanted by that combination, that duo.
Couple of things. The L.A. County Sheriff's Department had a captain just spoke. They did not. It was erroneous in the first reports. They did not extract him with the jaws of life. They were able to do it just normally without that. He doesn't know how that got in the first report, but that is inaccurate. And almost everyone, including L.A. County Sheriff's Department, now saying not life-threatening but very serious, and he's busted up and injured badly.
Well, The best part of that is obviously he is not uh, sustaining. He has not sustained any life threatening injuries, and so that is the best of that story. There is no doubt about
Yeah,
it.
in 2009, that was the day after Thanksgiving, and on that day, it was those 2 years that the Iron Bowl was played on Friday after Thanksgiving, and this was one of them. And of course, with Iron Bowl being on CBS, CBS threw it to Network Central, and they reported that it was life-threatening that day. It has never been reported today that it was life-threatening. A little surprising that in Los Angeles, especially with TMZ there, with all their avenues of reporting, that this story went, 4.5, almost 5 hours before anybody even knew it. And then when it broke, everybody naturally gravitated to something to find out more. Scott Van Pelton now on ESPN on SportsCenter. He's been particularly close to Tiger his entire life, and Jimmy Roberts earlier on Golf Channel with excellent reporting. And I must say that Golf Channel, when they first came on the air with it, their hosts were so addled and shaken by the news that they were having a tough time reporting. And Jimmy Roberts really brought a calming influence to it and broke it all down pretty well with what he knew. And I thought was right to the very first to say, after Tiger today, main people to worry about his little children and his mother.
Right. Yeah. It is ironic that it was TMZ that actually was the first report that I heard from it, that they were the first ones to actually get it. And I'm not sure if it was from Fox News that I saw the video of the automobile, or not the video, a photo of the video of the car itself, which looked in terrible shape. You could tell that it had been a serious accident. I mean, it rolled over. There was no doubting that. And they were the first ones, but you're right. I mean, that thing happened in Memphis about 9:30 Memphis time, and the first we heard of this really was about, 1:30, 2 o'clock. So there really was a gap between the incident occurring and this actually getting out. But again, let's repeat, Tiger Woods was involved in a one-car crash, a rollover down a ravine. He was taken to the hospital. It is not life-threatening. He was not, as originally reported, had to be extracted from the car with the jaws of life. That apparently is erroneous reporting from all of the networks. They've got the story right now. He has been in surgery. He has sustained multiple leg injuries, but again, not life-threatening, and that is the best part of this story thus far. In the
Curious, because some transcendent sports figure, nobody, I've said it many times on these airwaves, nobody captivated the stage and had that presence on the stage in my life like him. Maybe Muhammad Ali to rival it. Michael Jordan sure could, but Tiger Woods in that moment 2 years, coming up almost 2 years ago at Augusta National, among some of the, if not the best event I've ever been to, single most spine-tingling event. And for his comeback, when the ball was in the air on 16, I'll never forget it. I mean, everybody, just gasping at the ball in the air and how close it, thought it was going in once again, like his great chip shot there once upon a time. But one of the really, really transcendent sports figures, and now it sounds like that he will be okay, but that he's got a long rehabilitation. And Ben Hogan was 36 years old when he had his very serious automobile accident. Tiger at 45, 5 back surgeries, and all the well-chronicled travails he's been through.
Yeah, I was actually thinking of Hogan myself when I first saw the photo of that car. Now, that was a head-on collision that Hogan had, and no one thought he was going to walk again, let alone play golf. And that was pretty miraculous. But as you say, he was 9 years younger than Tiger and had not sustained the kind of injuries that Tiger has had in the last 5 or 6 years. But at least we know, again, the key part to this is not life-threatening. So, again, we're going to find out more and more. I suspect as the show goes on, we'll let you know. Last night, Grizzlies played all their players. Well, they didn't really quite play. They were all there. It was a tough beginning, a tough night for Memphis as they dropped below 500. They missed 16 of their first 18 shots. They could not hit a shot, and they could not get back on transition defense. The Mavericks had their way, even on a bad night, honestly, for Luka Doncic. But they just, if you look at fast break points off turnovers, when the game got fast and moving, the Grizzlies were not equal to the task. The Mavericks were the much better team last night in Dallas, and it was a real tough second outing for Justice Winslow, who went 1 for 10 in that game. But honestly, Brett, it was a tough night for everybody. They obviously missed Dylan Brooks. He was one of the few guys that on the roster other than Jaren Jackson that will be counted on that did not play in this game. But they brought a bunch of guys back. Didn't really matter. Dallas was the better team last night.
Yeah, another sorry performance by the Grizzlies. Never led the entire game behind from the start, stem to stern. Ended up losing by 10. That felt like 40 most of the night. And now with the back-to-backs coming up at FedEx Forum Thursday and Friday against the Clippers, any momentum heading into the All-Star break already has been lost because two with the Clippers, one against Houston, one at Washington, who won on the road last night against the Lakers, and then before the break ends, they play Milwaukee, and really just kind of struggling to get to the All-Star break. It looks like a team that really is torn between tanking and trying.
Yeah. There was a really interesting stat that the broadcast crew gave out last night on the Dallas Mavericks, which I find almost astonishing, but when the Dallas Mavericks lead after the first quarter, they don't lose the game. All 14 of their wins have come when they won the first quarter. And, of course, they were up by 13 after the first 12 minutes in that game last night.
1 by 10. Everybody could have gone home at that point, couldn't they?
They could have. They absolutely could have. That was, by the way, that 10 points, it was never really – it didn't seem that close.
Never.
As you mentioned, it was a pretty one-sided game. We have not heard yet from the American Athletic Conference or the University of Memphis, for that matter, on the schedule reshuffling that will occur. But there will be a reshuffling for next week. I mentioned when we opened the show that I was on the Zoom with Ron Hunter, the Tulane coach, and he says he's having games like their Wichita State game is getting reshuffled around. Well, that could be reshuffling for Memphis for all that we know. But there will be. So yesterday, and I couldn't really say, but yesterday on Penny's television show, Penny said that they were going to move the next week USF game up a day to Tuesday. So they would leave Monday, they would go to Tampa, and they would play USF on Tuesday, come back, or maybe not come back, maybe go directly to Houston, where they were going to play Houston on Thursday, and then they would play Houston again on Sunday. So you were going to end up getting Tulane, Cincinnati, twice with Houston, and the one game at USF. Penny also was mentioning that he had hoped that they could still get that Wichita State game in. I don't know if the Ron Hunter thing about the Wichita State game is for them or they're acquiescing that game. I'm not sure because I don't think that the conference totally has this down yet. But I do think you will see an adjustment, and there will at least be one extra game next week. And most likely that scenario that I just painted for you, if it can all work out. There are other things that I'm not aware of or why, and Penny wasn't aware of at the moment that he said it, where they were basically trying to work it out for that picture I painted. And I cannot tell you why, but it has not worked out as of yet. But I suspect something will take place So if they were to get those 5 games, and they went 4-1 with a split of Houston, I think that puts them into decent position going into the tournament where they got to win, at least get to the championship game. Maybe have to beat Wichita State again, depending on how that bracket lays out. But that certainly seems to be within their grasp, all right there. As Penny said yesterday, their fate is in their hands.
Well, not entirely, because they still need a lot of other teams to lose around college basketball because there's a lot of cars in front of them. There's like tonight, UConn at Georgetown. You need to be pulling for Georgetown.
Oh, yeah.
Also tonight, St. John's at Villanova. You need to be for Villanova. You don't want St. John's getting any traction. Tomorrow night, Seton Hall at Butler. You need Seton Hall to lose that one. So it's a lot of really moving parts. Indiana at Rutgers tomorrow night. It feels like Rutgers kind of in right now. You need Indiana to lose. Nevada at Utah State Friday night. So there's not a direct route, but we know it can't be won with more than probably one loss, maybe 2, maybe a loss to Houston in the regular season game and maybe to Houston in the conference championship game. So maximum 2 losses are in the Tigers the rest of the year with everything else breaking right for them. I'm surprised the league would leave Penny Hardaway hanging like that with that announcement.
Maybe sort of jumped the gun. Maybe he was pretty well assured, and then there was a problem that they did not foresee that came up. But that is what he said yesterday, and now that is on hold. In fact, it is interesting because I Googled the American Athletic Conference, and I went to news. And at one point, I think that scenario may have been on the GoTigersGo.com website. So when I hit it to double-check that later in the day, it was deleted. So they felt pretty strongly about it at one point, and then it has gone back, and I really do not know where that status is at this very moment. But I do think there will be some attempts to try to get the better teams to play against one another in hoping to get that net up and quad one games played so that they can hopefully get a second team into the tournament.
This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway, the one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis, and they are online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the golden opportunity. Spring sales event. Spring will be here soon. Great offers on all 2021 models and always special lease options. If you ever thought I'd look great in a Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus of Memphis thinks you would look great in a Lexus as well. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2021 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and that makes for the luxury driving experience. 901-362-8833, online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, that is clearly the story from Los Angeles today, where Tiger Woods in surgery today after a one-car accident that has left him with multiple leg injuries. However, the other aspect of this story is, and now is pretty widely reported, none of these injuries, which have required surgery, are life-threatening. So Tiger Woods, one-car accident, about 9:30 Memphis time, is in surgery at the moment, but the injuries, again, are not life-threatening.
For sure, that is the top story, and it would have been the top story maybe of all time if it had turned out to the severity at one time today that I feared. When you first saw that vehicle, you think nobody. Well, he didn't walk away, but nobody could even be carted away from that. Now, literally on the scene with the helicopter honed in, they've literally you saw his personal belongings, including that ubiquitous Nike swoosh hat on top of the belongings. They've removed those, and the tow truck is there to remove the vehicle. So that means the crash scene, the investigation, it's over if they're leaving from there. But it sounds much more on the better side now for Tiger Woods than it did earlier. Long rehabilitation ahead. Something, sadly, he's very used to, but his biggest rehabilitation challenge is ahead of him now, physically for sure.
Sure. Absolutely. You're in agreement with that. That is clearly the top story of this day.
Not top story of the day.
Well, due to the waste and inefficiencies, the state of Tennessee has decided they are cutting Shelby County's health department out of the vaccine distribution process and will instead send doses to the city of Memphis directly, local hospitals, and pharmacies. The Tennessee Department of Health said that the county wasted 2,400 doses across 7 separate incidents over the month of February. That is incredible. 110 new cases today with no new deaths. So those numbers keep coming down. There were 838 tests. Those have gone up. Positivity wasn't great, 10.8%, but hospital space going down. Clearly, a lot of things in the right direction.
Where are we on water?
We are getting better in water. We are still in a boil order, but I think there is sort of an end in sight.
Tomorrow's day 7.
All the infrastructure, obviously, that probably should have been fixed earlier, which was not, has come back to bite all of us.
You know what scares me with this water issue? What if we did have the big natural disaster? If we had the earthquake? If we're out 7 days from record cold from water, where we set up infrastructure on all that other stuff, I just think all this game planning and doomsday scenarios that we hear about, so much money being spent for, and then to go into tomorrow, 7 days without water is just almost unbelievable. My not top story. Never mind the score. Go Grizz. It's like it's 2001 instead of 2021. It's like we just got a team with a lot of people. Never mind the scores. Just so glad we have a team. Go team, go. No, this is a really bad management team right now. It's a really bad coaching job being done right now. It's a really bad playing job being done right now. And there's always an excuse from so many because it's the coziest treatment ever. They get treated like they just moved to town. This is year 20, and still, never mind the score, just build for the future. It'll get better. Next gen, hope springs eternal.
It is interesting. You have said all along they're getting passes they shouldn't be getting. They are just one game under 500. But this is another statistic that I thought was pretty interesting, and it comes from the ESPN defensive efficiency numbers. As much as we love watching Ja run, jump, pass, okay, he's not shooting very well. We know that is a major issue, but it really may not be his main issue. According to the ESPN defensive efficiency numbers, Ja is the worst defensive point guard in the NBA except for Trae Young. And that is the reason why Ja probably won't be an all-star. Because there are two sides to the basketball.
He shouldn't be an all-star.
Isn't that hard to believe, though? Second worst point guard defensively in the league behind only Trae Young. And those are our top and are not top stories of the day. I'm sitting in the Family Leisure Studios. I am urging you, now that this weather is so great, I mean, couldn't you see sitting outside tonight on your brand new patio furniture, sipping a favorite beverage? It's that nice outside. It really is. Golf courses, I bet you, are probably flourishing now. It may be cart path only, but what the heck? It's a beautiful day to go hit the ball, or it's a beautiful day to go get that patio furniture. See my friends at I-40 and Wooden Road, Family and Leisure, where family and fun all come together, and they've got this factory direct pool and patio sale going on right now. All the 2021 inventory has arrived. It is state of the art, and it's there. It's ready for you to just come and take a look. Your whole backyard changes when you've got beautiful patio furniture. Pool season truly is right around the corner. Get ready, beat the rush, be the first one on the block to have an installation of a new above-ground pool. They have spas in stock now. They're ready for installation too. Take advantage of this sale, the Factory Direct Pool and Patio Sale, only at Family Leisure. We are officially underway on this Tuesday of Sports Time on Sports 56.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio. We are Sports 56, 98.5 and 96.1.
Hi, folks. The Chevy Sheriff for Sunrise Chevy in Collierville. To get the most car or truck for your money, think Sunrise Chevy. Best selection, think Sunrise Chevy. Biggest savings, think Sunrise Chevy. Huge used car selection, think Sunrise Chevy. Immediate financing, think Sunrise Chevy. Low payments, think Sunrise Chevy. Big discounts, think Sunrise Chevy. Cars under 10 grand, think Sunrise Chevy. Bad credit, think Sunrise Chevy. Body shop, think Sunrise Chevy. Need service work, think Sunrise Chevy. The selection's better and the savings bigger. 385 in Houston Levy and Collierville. Find new roads to Sunrise Chevy.
I have a very honest golf instructor. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors. My instructor is Marty Fulton, a PGA Life member whom you may remember from Plantation, Whispering Woods, or Holiday Golf Club. When I asked him what I might do to improve my game, Marty, what did you tell me?
Sheldon, I told you to get your clubs together, put them in your car, then take them to the nearest lake and toss them in.
Great, Marty. You're a big help.
Sheldon, you're far better at selling homes than you'll ever be at golf. That's why people often say when you want the job done, call Sheldon.
Thanks, Marty. And if you or someone you know is thinking about selling their home, you should talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers and make sure that I am one of them. Find out the difference in what they do in my highly successful strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option. You or they can reach me at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. That's Sheldon Rosengarten at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. Do it now.
All 75 months at 3.04%. Mirage MH 002682, MSRP 16865, G4 MHF 01572, MSRP 18360, Outlander Sport MU 004915, MSRP 24740. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Ready, set, start your new year with a new ride from Gossett Mitsubishi on Covington Pike. Get the hatchback hero in 2021 Mirage, $12,342 or $129 a month. 2021 Mitsubishi Mirage G4, 41 mpg highway, $13,997 or $149 a month. And jumpstart your journey in 2021 Outlander Sport, $17,938 or $199 a month. And these are not leases. You own your new ride. Plus, you get Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
At First Bank Mortgage, their core purpose is to help you get to a better place. That better place may be a lower monthly payment, that vacation you thought was impossible, or getting into a home with a fenced backyard where your kids can play. To get into your better place, First Bank Mortgage makes decisions right here at home. Dedicated to helping you get to your better place, First Bank Mortgage. Call Daniel Mooney at 901-462-0145 today. NMLS 741022. Equal housing lender.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Wolochin and Brett Norsworthy.
Somebody must keep you around some.
Welcome back in. We mentioned last night it was a stinker all the way around for the Memphis Grizzlies. Here is a team, a little like Phoenix, that if you're going to measure how good you are in the West, how good you are in your division, how good you are amongst those trying to get those last 2 or 3 playoff spots, it hasn't been a good last couple of days, that is for sure. We bring in the original beat writer of the Memphis Grizzlies, the one and only Ron Tillery, and we're all sort of shaken from the Tiger Woods news of today. The good news, again, is that it is not life-threatening injuries, but he is in surgery for multiple leg injuries, and I knew, Ron, being the Tiger fan that you are, you'd want to weigh in on that.
Well, yeah, it's very unfortunate. And good afternoon, guys. Thanks for having me. He's experienced a lot of tragedy in the latter stages of his career. I won't say his life because he says it's not life-threatening. And you just wish the best for him. I think when you hear news like this, all of a sudden it goes beyond golf. You're not thinking about trying to get a record or anything in the sport. You just want to live his best life, and so we'll be pulling for him.
For his little children.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. And I heard you guys earlier, and I'm glad you guys clarified a lot of things because a lot of misinformation, disinformation is out there, and that's one of the worst parts of stuff like this is like people just start running with stories, and
well, it's easy in the fog of the first news. Michael Eaves has nailed it. He's on Sports Center now, being interviewed, and he's been all over. He's got great sourcing in L.A. after having spent the years there with the Fox Regional there as the Clippers reporter, and I think he also has some relationship, with Tiger. I know Michael loves golf and can knock it 100 miles.
He played college golf
Kentucky
for the University of Kentucky. That is correct.
Yeah. And so he has really good sourcing, and he has really done a good job today. But you're right, Ron, on the news today, the first reports are always the sketchiest ones. You know that in all your years of covering things, and then it settles in, and everybody kind of gets a handle on the story. And no blame assigned there. Just everybody trying to get it out. Some a little quicker. It's amazing that TMZ didn't have it any faster than they did, because I say this almost wanting to break the ice a little bit and it get relaxed a little bit. TMZ's got every desk sergeant and every hospital place paid off in Los Angeles.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're making a great point there when it comes to them, because people are easily dismissive. But they do quality reporting.
They pay. And LA Times doesn't.
Yeah,
they'll pay the source.
That's right.
Right. And so, every now and then, even the National Enquirer will break something that's valid.
They sure will. Ron, last night we were texting during the Grizzlies game, and it was just really pitiful from the start. Never led, continuation of the Saturday night effort. And what just drives me crazy is never mind the score, never mind the record. And Dave rightly said they are just one under 500, but it feels like a team that's torn between tanking and trying.
Well, when I watched that game last night, I was annoyed at the coaching because when they won 7 in a row at whatever it was, we gave Taylor Jenkins and his staff a lot of credit for extracting everything that he got out of those players. And right now, the offense is terrible, which is not saying anything. And I don't see effort. And so I don't want to see Taylor Jenkins get tossed with 20-something seconds left in the game. I want to hear about what he's doing behind closed doors to get effort out of these guys. This team is too young and too talented to not give effort. Now, the better team won last night. I don't care if they won by 10, 20, 40, 50. The Grizzlies weren't going to win that game. But the lack of effort is just inexcusable. And I put that squarely on Taylor Jenkins and his staff.
Well, I think there's a couple of indicators that show effort to dramatize your point, Ron. One is transition defense. I mean, you got to want to get back, especially on a team that's athletic and that can run like the Mavericks can. When it was like 20-0 just about, and I may be making that up, but not by much, of fast break points in the first half. And that was awful. And the second thing that is effort is getting to the perimeter and not allowing wide open in rhythm threes. And that is exactly what the Mavericks got last night. That is exactly what the Suns got on Saturday or Sunday, whichever day it was. I forget.
Yeah. Well, and I understand that the three wise men behind the scenes that's running the front office want to move on from grit and grind, but to extend your point,
well, they have.
Right. But to extend your point, well, that's all the grit and grind Grizzlies were. Was they? If we couldn't score, you're not going to score either. They won games shooting 30% because they went out and guarded. Defense is effort. That's all that is. We can talk about schemes and we can talk about being this spot there, but no, you got to want it, like you said. And that was to me. And I know people will say, well, back to backs, 4 and 5 nights, and all that, crap. No,
it's the big leagues.
They're not playing. They're not playing.
It's the big leagues, Ron. It's the life they chose. It's the life they're very well compensated for, and the excuse-making is unbelievable. Never mind the score. Well, why do we have a record book then? Why do we keep score if never mind the score? Never mind the score is at 3rd and Union at a AAA baseball game. That's the developmental league. This is not a developmental league. This is the big time. This is the show. This is the association, as they like to say. And we treat this team like it's January, February of 2022 in the first, or 2002 rather, in the first 2 or 3 years of just, gee whiz, look at our new toy in town. We're glad to have a team when this management group you mentioned, not only did they move on from grit and grind, kind of wanted to sully and dismiss winning in that style. But winning is the object. And I get so tired of hearing from any fan across any sport, whether it's football, I don't care if we go 0-10. I want to be exciting. Let's lose 55-54. No, you don't. You want to win. Baseball, I'd rather let's score a bunch of runs. I don't want to see a bunch of pitching and defense. No, you want to win. And now with this team won't ever accomplish what grit and grind did until they play some semblance of defense. They won't. I know this. The last management group, they went to the Western Conference Finals. When is this one going?
Right, and that's what I tell people. Wake me up when that happens. Fans are right to be excited about the potential of Ja and Jaren because they're two fantastic young players, and they're just 21 years old. So, but as you've seen this year, they're poking the league, the association, poking a lot of holes in Ja's game. He doesn't guard anybody. And he struggles to shoot. Like if he doesn't get to the rim, he doesn't make anything happen. He's got to learn how to shoot the ball, and he's got to guard. And that's not unlike Mike Conley, for instance. Who struggled his first 3 years. Obviously
Kyle Lowry.
Yeah, Kyle Lowry. Yeah, obviously, Ja was Rookie of the Year, but like we talked about this before on you guys' show. They're scheming for him now. Like the honeymoon's over because when teams come in, they know that everything goes through Ja, and they know his strengths and his weaknesses. And last night was a clear case of taking away his strength, rather. To your point about winning, I 2 conversations I remember very distinctly. One I had with Jerry West, former president of basketball operations for the Grizzlies. And I remember when he took the reins away from Mike Fratello and handed the team over to Tony Barone, the late great Tony Barone Sr. And he called me and he's like, because Barone ball was fast paced, letting Mike Miller shoot shots like Steph Curry does today. And he's like, oh, this got to be more fun to cover. And I said, Jerry, they could roll the ball to each other. I said, winning is fun. Mm-hmm. And the other conversation I had that's distinct is with Tayshaun Prince, to your point about defense and winning. And we were just chopping it up about the Pistons and how you remember those days, not the bad boy Pistons, but the Chauncey Billups, Tayshaun Prince Pistons, the ones that beat the Lakers. He said, Ron, man, you will be surprised at how crazy the crowd would go if we would win 75-70. They love the fact that we play defense.
Right.
But you know what they love more? Winning.
Yeah.
So that's what it's all about.
I would agree with that. Now, I do think Ja has improved in one area. I think he's learned that he can't get to the hole every time, and his body won't last if he tries every time. So he's developed that little floater in the lane, and that has become a more effective weapon. But his defense, to me, has gone backwards. I said this earlier. I don't know if you were listening then. If you go to the ESPN defensive efficiency numbers, he's the worst point guard except for Trae Young in the entire NBA defensively. And I don't remember him being that poor defensively a year ago.
Yeah, I think we got blinded by his offense. His offense was just spectacular, and so I kind of liken it to Zebo. Like Zebo will give you 35, but he might let the other guy get 25, but he gonna give you 35.
Yeah.
But so like with Ja, he's shooting very poorly. I agree with you. I think the floater has become more effective for him. But I mean, his 3-point shooting is just atrocious, and now it just shines a light on his deficiency, and so that doesn't mean that he's not a star in the making. He just got to. I think what you're alluding to is work on his game. Like, I mean, you got to come back with something different and something that makes you better every year, and I think this year is eye-opening for him because again, people are paying attention to him. Well, when they write up the scouting reports and stuff, it's focused on Ja. And you know what? In fairness to him, I think when Jaren comes back, it'll lighten the load. I think the fact that D'Anthony Melton is back in the fold helps. And we haven't even touched on Justice Winslow.
Well, we have to do that. I mean, the guy, it's only 2. So I'm certainly not grading this trade or him yet as a player, and he hadn't played in 13 months. That would be totally unfair.
Yeah.
But as far as debuts go, he's had one decent half, and that was in a loss. And last night he was lost. He was 1 for 10. He's not shy shooting, but it's almost a little Dylan Brooks-esque. But I mean,
Justice Winslow for 3.
Wow, he is really off.
Yeah, and that's just it. You just can't walk off the street and play NBA basketball. His timing is not there. And again, we talked about Justice Winslow a lot in theory because he had a different role in Miami where they put the ball in his hands. So now, in addition to being off 13 months and trying to find your timing on an NBA basketball court, he's got to also figure out how he fits in on this team. And I think Taylor Jenkins wants him to handle the ball, which is going to have to be off the bench for the foreseeable future. But he's got to carve out a role for himself on this team. When Jaren comes back, we know exactly what he brings. This whole thing about Justice Winslow is in theory, and I think a lot of what we're seeing is not only physical, but it's mental. Because he's got to gain some confidence in playing the game.
Ron, what do you think the front office? Just your best guess. Do you think they want to go for it, or they want to be in the draft?
You know what? It's kind of hard to say stats because I don't know if you can blame it on the injuries or whatever, but you don't see an identity with this team. It's hard to say. I would like to see them have an identity that's beyond Ja is our rookie of the year, and let's just roll with that. What are they trying to be as a group?
I don't know.
Because Ron, I'm afraid I'm going to get real old waiting on next gen.
Right. Yeah, I would like to see what they want to be as a group, and that's why I started out by critiquing the coaches because I like the way they operated, not just because they won 7 in a row, but because they had an identity. They were sharing the basketball, they were making shots, It wasn't just built, he had this 10-man rotation. It wasn't just built around one guy. And now I just don't see any effort. So to the extent that they're tanking, I don't know. But I just feel like I don't get caught up in the, why does he have this combination out there? And why is he playing this guy? Listen, you're coaching 13 of the best 400 and something players in the world. If you're on an NBA team, then the coach should have the right to put you in the game. So what I want to see is effort.
Well,
and he's not getting that.
I hear you on that. And this isn't necessarily on Taylor Jenkins either. But if you're looking for the definitive answer, I'm not sure that we got one, whether they're trying to play for the draft or they're really trying to make the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
But when you're not playing guys like in the Phoenix game against a team that you're going to be competing with for final playoff spots, that to me sends a message that, you don't really care that much about this year.
Yeah. Well, that's possible because the reality is, I think they were ahead of schedule last year, and this team is extremely young, and so they may be trying to build towards something. I think a lot of that is contingent on what the truth is about Jaren Jackson. We still don't know. They may figure if he can't go this year, then it's a lost year because you need him and Ja on the court together.
Wow.
And we don't know the truth about that.
It would be incredible, honestly, from a meniscus issue, if that's what it indeed was, and isn't that what they initially said this was?
Right.
If a guy is out for the year with a meniscus issue, something's wrong. Something is he's started a light practice, so I think he'll be back. We'll see in the second half, and maybe if they start playing well in the second half, they'll play to win. Otherwise, they'll go, all right, let's get another piece. As always, Ron, we appreciate it. We'll do this again, same time next week. Stay healthy, my friend.
Same to you guys, and thank you very much.
That is Ron Tilley.
Thank you.
The original beat writer of the Grizzlies. This portion of the show brought to you by Brian Elder Roofing Solutions. You know all about the Elder Group by now. They've been around helping people out with roof issues for years and years and years. Brian was the first guy that said, look, we can use new equipment. We'll measure your roof from outer space. And they can do that. But they'd rather come and take a look, and they do this for free. They come out, they'll look at your shingles. If you've got some issues, they'll contact the insurance company for you. They're also doing some remodeling work. If that is what you need, they can do that as well as contractors. They are always on top of everything. And it's not just Brian. Now they got my friend Chris Price. He's in on this business. Call me, Chris. Call them at this very famous number, 867-0303, 867-0303. They have the best products on the market. They also give their customers one of the best warranties ever for any kind of roofing contractor. It's called the No Questions Asked warranty, which sets them apart from all the others. And basically, it is we stand by our work. We will take care of you. So make the phone ring, get the free consultation, especially after all the ice and issues you might have with your roof right now. Don't let a leak happen. Call 867-0303 for Brian Elder Roofing Solutions. We'll take a break. We're back in a minute. We'll put a wrap on hour number 1 on this Tuesday of Sports Time on Sports 56.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
The fun continues at Family Leisure with a brand new Factory Direct pool and patio sale. The new 2021 inventory is in. You got to get ready now and beat the rush. Become the first one to have your pool installed. They have spas in stock, and those are ready for installation right now, too. Complete your backyard with a new set of patio furniture, all state-of-the-art. Special financing available. Family Leisure, I-40 and Whidden Road, where family and fun come together. together.
The President's Day event is in full swing at Gossett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat on the Pike. And we're celebrating with 2020 Dodge Journey SE $19,990 or $249 a month. Or pump up your attitude with the 2021 Jeep Cherokee Latitude $21,740 or $277 a month. Or take your pick 2020 Ram 1500 Quad Cab Tradesman or 2021 Dodge Challenger XST $339 a month. It's your choice, Ram 1500 or Challenger. We Gossett at $339 a month. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat 1901 Covington Pike or shop online GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Almost financed through Chrysler, all 3,500 cash down, 75 months at 4.19 APR. Journey LT 296,053, MSRP 26,860. Latitude MD 168,760, MSRP 27,805. 1500 LS 156,730, MSRP 35,185. Challenger MH 581,58, MSRP 31,160. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax on a license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 3/1/21. Dealer stock only.
The truth is, before all this even started, people tended to social distance themselves from me when I was eating at Central Barbecue. Once I get elbow deep in some Central Barbecue ribs, it's always a good idea to keep your distance. And now that this is going on, Central Barbecue will always be practicing social distancing and counting on you to do the same. We all want to get back to normal, but right now, if we all want to enjoy some delicious Central Barbecue, we're also going to have to at least act like we care about each other. We're looking forward to seeing you at Central Barbecue. Just, stay about 6 full racks of ribs away.
At First Bank Mortgage, their core purpose is to help you get to a better place. That better place may be a lower monthly payment, that vacation you thought was impossible, or getting into a home with a fenced backyard where your kids can play. To get into your better place, First Bank Mortgage makes decisions right here at home. Dedicated to helping you get to your better place, First Bank Mortgage. Call Daniel Mooney at 901-462-0145 today. NMLS 741022. Equal housing lender.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
We like to party.
Cruising through our Tuesday. One story that is starting to get a little traction. Apparently, Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos is starting to, I guess, pressure Daniel Snyder into selling the Washington football team to him. I was kind of hoping Fred Smith was going to get that team in the long run, to be honest with you. But apparently Bezos, how much is Bezos worth now? Like
a whole bunch. And if he gets his hands on the football team, we know he already owns the Washington Post.
Yes.
How will they cover his football team?
Carefully.
$193 billion.
$193 billion? Holy mackerel.
And that was with the settlement with his wife and the divorce. She got how much?
Maybe she got $30 billion. She got a lot of money too.
In the billions, let's see here. $57.4 billion.
She got 57.4 and he's still worth 193? Wow.
Boy, she's got to be the most eligible bachelorette in the world.
No kidding. Yeah, he bought the Washington Post in 2013. He's apparently, I think he purchased a Washington mansion in 2016. I believe he was going to make D.C. the
White House. Did he buy the White House?
No, the White House is small compared to his place. Come on.
Got some good toys in it, though.
Yeah. I think he was going to make, and may still, because isn't he stepping away from day-to-day with Amazon? But I think they were going to make D.C. the second big hub. Wasn't that one of the plans? I'm pretty sure. So he wants that team. He certainly has the money to buy that team. That team would have cost him $2 billion. He can do that by himself up front.
He could buy the whole league.
No bank necessary. Yeah, he could. He could. Daniel Snyder's time is running out. It sure seems. Yeah. Of course, we've been saying that for a while, and they did make an announcement today before this story came out that they have decided they are not going to name their football team until 2022. I don't know why you wouldn't just keep it as it is. Washington football team. Heck, we got 901 FC, 901 Football Club, right?
And a lot of the Premier League soccer teams, they don't have a nickname per se, but I'm sure NFL Properties and NFL Marketing and Merchandising knows they can do something with it, especially in the honeymoon period when they first roll it out.
So, all this really began with Snyder, and all the problems in changing the name was when the minority owners, including Fred, said, we got to do something. You're just not.
They'd had enough.
A responsible.
He'd embarrassed
owner.
them long enough.
Right, exactly. And I did kind of think, Fred could end up being the majority owner of this team, but it looks like it's going in a little different direction, or at least that's what Jeff Bezos is putting out there at this very moment. That's an hour in the books. When we come back, college football, college basketball, that'll be front and center. Our friend from down in Jacksonville, Brent Beard, he always comes your way on Tuesdays. He will be with us in a matter of moments.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
It may be cold outside, but your deals keep getting hotter and hotter, Jeff. Hey, let's conquer the cold and gear up for winter with the Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah President's Day sales event.
We got you covered, Randy. Let's talk. 2021 Kia Forte, $133 a month lease. 2021 Kia Soul, redesigned inside and out, $149 a month lease. And a 2021 Kia K5, $182 a month lease. All just 36 months, $3149 due at signing.
That's what I'm talking about, Jeff. Plus, every Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah comes with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
All 36-month leases, $3149 due at signing, 0 security deposit, 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, $650 acquisition fee, Forte, ME3 19,038, MSRP 20,625, Soul, M7755,638, MSRP 20,660, K5, MG 005560, MSRP 25,725, include all manufacturer rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax filing license, with approved credit, see dealer for complete details, offer valid through 3/1/21, dealer stock only.
Progressive presents The Sounds of the Old World. The year is 2019, and someone is getting up to use the bathroom at the stadium.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Oh, sorry. Excuse me? You mind if I just squeeze by here?
This has been The Sounds of the Old World. Brought to you by Progressive, where drivers can still switch and save like it's 2019.
Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
It's time, Memphis! Tune into Fox Sports Southeast and watch your next-gen Grizzlies Thursday, February 25th at 7 p.m. when they take on the Los Angeles Clippers, presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Check out Grizzlies.com for more information.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Ocean and Brett Norsworthy.
My world was strapped against my back.
Welcome in hour number 2 on this beautiful Tuesday outside. Shocking news earlier today. It broke about 1:30 Memphis time. Tiger Woods in a one-car accident outside of Los Angeles. Car went down a ravine. It rolled over. He was extracted. The original reports were that the jaws of life were used. That turns out not to be the case. ESPN and Michael Eaves doing a very good job of reporting. The injuries that Tiger has sustained are not life-threatening, but serious enough to be taken by ambulance to the hospital, where he was then put into surgery, and the leg injuries are being surgically repaired. And the best news that we can tell you is that Tiger Woods' his life is not at all threatened, but this was a very, very serious one-car crash with multiple leg injuries. Brett, you asked me about the MLGW boil water order. I have really been trying to figure that one out myself. The last story I saw was really from MLGW 22 hours ago. And basically, it is coming down to that the boil water order will stay in effect probably toward the end of this week. We don't have a definitive time, and so be on the safe side. I don't think they found any contamination yet. I've not seen a story that says that there has been, but we do know that you want to be safe. So boil the water and continue on that way. Twitter's reporting the AAC is trying to reshuffle around game dates for next week, trying to fit in a Memphis at Wichita State game potentially for next Thursday. Well, that is the date that originally in
Twitter itself or someone on Twitter?
Taylor Eldridge on Twitter has said this, who I must confess, I really am not sure who he is, but
he covers Wichita State for the local paper.
He is hearing from the AAC. Yeah, he is hearing from the AAC. So now I know Penny did say, not on our show, but with the Zoom that he did with reporters yesterday, that he had hopes that game could be played. When I had taped that TV show with him, he was at that point pretty sure that Thursday was going to be the first of a back-to-back with Houston, Thursday in Houston, Sunday in Memphis on national TV on CBS. So we're just going to have to wait and see. I think that the Tigers will have at least one more game that will be made up as opposed to what just the regular schedule says before this week is over. It will be announced, and it will take place next week. I don't think anything can happen before next week. It'll probably be one. If they could get Houston, both Houston games and a Wichita State game in, that would be unbelievable. I just don't see how that could possibly happen. In the meantime, we love talking college football. We love talking college basketball. Our friend Brent Beard down in Jacksonville, Florida, joins us now. Were you ever affected by the weather? I don't think you guys were. You were in pretty good shape, right?
We were fortunate.
In Jacksonville?
Yeah. We're more seasonable than say Orlando or certainly Miami, but we never had anything near what you guys had or what Brother Brett had in Huntsville or our friends out in Texas did. So we were quite glad for that. We got a string of 70s this week and got some 40s at night. So that's about as good as it gets here right now.
Yeah.
Not too bad. In the ACC, Josh Pastner says everybody should get in the tournament, Brent.
Yeah.
Josh prone to steep hyperbole at times.
Yes. I think that would be about as steep as a few mountains that I went up to Atlanta this weekend to visit both daughters in that area. So we climbed some hills just going on walks. So I think it was that steep. No, I can appreciate Duke and sometimes there are some blessed subtractions so that they're acting a little more like a team now, and they're playing better. But no, they're not going to get anybody all included in there by any stretch of the imagination. But I think the SEC right now, Bama, Tennessee, Arkansas, LSU, Florida, Missouri, they're all 37. Now Ole Miss has got a lot of work to do, and so does Kentucky. From the net, if you pay much attention to the net, as of Saturday, Ole Miss was 60 and Kentucky was 64. But there are still folks who think that the Cats are going to have a run in the SEC tournament.
Well, I think they're going to win the SEC tournament. I don't think the SEC is a great league. I think this team could be poised to make their run. I think that's the only way. Unless they were to win out the rest of the year and then get to the title game. Maybe they could get in that way. Look, there are a lot of people that think Duke is in now or approaching getting in because they beat Virginia at home.
Yeah,
right. You know, this committee could go because it will be so difficult to really figure out the worthy teams. And the net seems to have some flaws to it for sure. But I think they're going to go brand name in the end, just like they did for the Final Four in football.
Yeah. Well, and there'll be some howling, obviously, about that, too. But there's some big games coming up. Florida's got Auburn tonight, and they need to continue to win. Arkansas has risen to the cream of the crop almost. And the third in the net got a humongous game at home against Alabama tomorrow night. Tennessee seems like they've kind of righted the ship a little bit. LSU is still in the mix with that. So I'll say this, guys. When Mike Slive was commissioner of the SEC, and he was determined that the basketball was going to get better, and he brought in Mike Tranghese to help them, and they brought in some better coaches from where we were. Listen, I remember well when we were Florida and Kentucky, and everybody else was not much. So the league compared to that time is certainly significantly better now than it was.
It is, and Mike Slive, as we very well knew here, Dave knew it. We saw it at his core. He was a basketball guy. That was his start, kind of in commissionership,
Great,
and he
great
came,
Midwest.
and then he got the ultimate football conference commissionership. And I think I'm still trying to figure out what at Greg Sankey's core he is. I think banker.
Yeah. Well, let's say the money hadn't stopped
hedge fund,
flowing, right?
Yeah, I think at his core he's a hedge fund manager.
That's good. Yeah. But and they're in heavy trouble with that. But yes, it's and Bama's got a chance to pull off a rarity, particularly for them, is to win football and basketball regular season SEC titles.
Do you think Alabama is good enough? Look, they've had some really, really good wins. I agree. And they have beaten they own LSU. No question about that.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got to play at the top of your game for 6 games, and the competition keeps getting tougher and tougher. If you slip in any of those 6 games and you start missing threes the way they are built, I just don't see them doing it 6 games in a row.
See, the problem there, Dave, is the total. The sum of the parts are better than the individual parts. Look, they've still got situations where Herb Jones gets in too much foul trouble. His back's hurt, and he tries to reach in, knock the ball away. He's a good defensive player, and that's caused him to foul. John Petty, and I give Nate Oates a lot of credit for making Petty and Alex Reese into better ball players. But the problem is, it was similar in the Vanderbilt game on Saturday. You never really know when John Petty's going to disappear late in the game. And that's a real problem for them. And they've got younger players like Shackelford, who is capable of scoring nearly 30 points, as he did against Vanderbilt. And tomorrow night against Arkansas, he may score 10. It's helping that Bruner, their big man, is back. They really still do not have a true point guard. Sometimes I think they haven't had one since like Enos Watley or Terry Connor or something of that nature. So, Dave and Brett, to your point, look, I think under Nate Oates for this year, if they could win a couple of games and get back into Wimp Sanderson Sweet 16 area, that they could that will be significant progress for them. I heard an analyst say the other night that their speed could give Baylor and Gonzaga problems. Right now, I think Baylor and Gonzaga would both beat Alabama by double digits. So
run them out of the arena. I'm so with you. And I don't think they can do it for 6 games. I don't think anybody is expecting them to do it for 6 games. I think a great achievement would be Elite 8, and for sure, if they went to their first Final Four ever, that would be a crowning achievement for the ultimate football school. You go through the SEC. You're talking about the sum of the parts. Great point, Brent. You go through the top scorers in the SEC this year, you've got to get to 13th before you get to the first Alabama player, and then you got to go until 21 to get to the second one. It's a lot of people contributing in that style of play. Now, that argument would argue against everybody going cold on the same night.
Yeah, well, right. But they have listen. There was a time in the Vanderbilt game from 3. They were 8 of 33.
Right.
So now they're capable of missing threes in bunches too, and they're capable of doing on their home court, which is amazing. But now see where they are right now, and I give Greg Byrne a lot of credit for this. They gave Nate Oates an extension and a raise, and through 2027. And they've now got to make a decision, as many SEC schools have done, i.e. Florida, Auburn, Ole Miss, and do something about the gym they're playing in that's going to further better what they're doing. So it's good to see these schools, because I'm a big Hoops fan, and particularly with the conference, glad to see them making progress. They've come a long way. They've got a long way to go, too.
Last time I was in that Alabama gym, and I appreciate that they made that commitment to Oates, because I think he is a terrific coach.
He is.
And they do need new facilities. So I was in there right after it got remodeled several years, I don't know how many years ago. And it looked like when they had remodeled it, it needed to be redone right away.
It did. Dave.
I hear you on that. And your point is well taken.
I always wondered where they spent the money on.
Yeah. Your point is well taken. That not everybody's going to get cold at the same time, Brad. I'm with you there. But it is a weird thing with basketball. And watch this. And I don't have the analytics in front of me, but I've just watched enough games over the years to see it. Good shooting and bad shooting is contagious. It is contagious from the three-point line, like the 8 of 33 with a bunch of people missing, or it's contagious at the free throw line, where I've seen good free throw shooters miss because the guy in front of them missed.
Right. Well,
it's like hitting. It gets very contagious.
Yeah.
Well, and listen, they had that game. Bama had 2 games, one against LSU and Baton Rouge, where they shot the lights out, got about 25 threes. And then against Georgia, they scored 115 points, which is the most they've scored in their history in the conference. So to your point, they can do both. Their problem is you never know when it's going to happen.
Well, they should just play LSU every time.
Well, they play no defense, and it's not as much as in any sport, whether it's the hitting in baseball or making the ball go through the net in basketball. It's not as much as the contagion as it's simple human dynamic. When that other guy's making it, you're not pressing as much. When everyone's missing, then you start pressing. You start gripping that barrel of the bat a little tighter in baseball. I think I'm right in this. Other than the Memorial Gym in Nashville that Vandy plays in, and a bunch of money's been spent on it, and I have almost the same feeling the last time I went in that. What'd y'all spend the money on? I still don't see any improvement, but I think Coleman Coliseum is the second oldest playing site in the league.
Vandy the oldest?
Yeah, well,
Vandy oldest, Bama second.
You're certainly close. I'm one of the great lines I thought about this the other day.
Stegman may be up there at Georgia.
Yeah, very much. Great point.
Now that one they redid, I think it looks pretty good. Better than Alabama's, I'll tell you.
It wasn't that long ago they did, but in Alabama realizes they need to do that. I still remember, and I think I've shared this with Brett. I don't think I have you, Dave, but when Doug Layton was alive, he was the play-by-play for Alabama years ago, back in the 70s, before Eli Gold started doing it, and they were playing a game at Mississippi State. And this was before, obviously, Mississippi State redid theirs. One of the greatest comments I've ever heard on the air, Doug Layton said, we're here at Mississippi State in Starkville, in the only gym in America where the wind is a factor.
That is good.
Yeah, I didn't know Dougie Doo was play-by-play in basketball. Boy, to hear a tape of that would be gold.
Can you? Hey, listen, Brett. You remember Doug, and you remember what?
I knew him well.
Doug had a great Dave, and you may have known him. Doug had a great dry sense of humor. He did. Help me, Brett, but he did morning radio in Birmingham. That with Tommy Charles. That was, and then John Ed Willoughby did it, and Doug. It wasn't like sports talk radio that it is now. It was more. They play a little music. They would give you some community events. They do the weather and this and that. And Doug would just.
Well, he got famous on boycotting the Beatles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And they were. And Doug was one of these guys. Now he also did. With John Forney, he was analyst for Alabama basketball. So I'm sorry, Alabama football, and then he did basketball too. So Brett, you're right. He could be a comedian during those games. It was great to listen to.
And he would have great malaprops. And when he was trying to be funny, he was funny. When he wasn't trying to be funny, he would be funny. And I can't repeat. One day he was talking about the footballs and said the Auburn punter was hanging his footballs high in the air that day.
Yeah. Why was he boycotting the Beatles?
To get known.
Okay.
To
be a big. Yeah. He was on WERC, right, Brent?
I think that's right. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Well, I think it's kind of like the. You remember? I think it was '88 when you guys would surely. The Tennessee broadcaster was on top of the billboard until they won. I think the Beatle thing, Dave, was something similar to that.
Publicity gathering. I knew. Yes. I know the name John Forney. I must confess, I'm not sure who Doug is, but
Doug.
But he was a fun. Right. Didn't he have a daughter that was a pretty accomplished actress in Hollywood?
He did.
Brent?
Yes. Yes, that's correct. Yeah, absolutely. But they had their. I don't know why I can't think of his name right now, but they had a legendary sideline guy. Also, and as soon as we hang up, I'll think of his name.
Paul Kennedy?
No,
Paul Crane.
Paul was play-by-play, and I'll think of it in a few minutes. But John Forney was basically the straight guy for John Forney. John Forney, straight guy for Doug Layton. So I'm glad we went down memory lane there a little bit. I enjoy that.
Oh yeah, well, that era. You think of the announcers from Jack Crystal, John Ward,
right?
My favorite guy actually,
John Ferguson, Stan Torgeson.
Yeah, but I'm thinking
Larry Munson.
Larry Munson is the guy I'm
Paul
thinking
Eels.
about. Yeah, Paul Eels. He was terrific. I mean, you're talking about some fabulous voices at a time when radio was really the king.
Yes.
And
Yes.
they were larger than life. They really brought it to you, and very special for sure. So speaking of just football, I love your notes. I appreciate that you send these all the time, and you're always like one step ahead. And obviously, you love football more than anything else because you're already talking about hot seats, and you got my guy Justin Fuente on a hot seat. You got David Cutcliffe retiring. Is this true?
No,
Justin Fuente got himself on the hot seat.
Yeah. Good point. This is just basically, and I give the Athletic credit for that. This is time of year, Dave and Brett, as you know, that in football there's not always a lot to write about. So you're going to speculate on some of this. But frankly, what Dave brought up to me may be the most interesting thing about this is, and the Athletic mentions Ohio's Frank Solich, Rick Stockstill, Middle Tennessee, FIU's Butch Davis. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but they do bring up some good points in that to keep an eye on some of these guys that not necessarily who would be fired, but who might retire.
David Cutcliffe is what, 67? I think he's my age. I think that's what he is.
I would say, Brett, when you say mid 60s, I think that'd be probably safe.
Yeah, he was in school at Bama in the mid 70s.
Yeah. So, and look, he may be there a little while longer, but and that's a really good fit for him. But I do wonder. It was a difficult year for David, and I still think Cutcliffe is a tremendous coach, one of the best quarterback coaches ever been. But you do wonder if at some point is it wearing on him.
I think this past year was wearing on everybody. I mean, we talked to Ryan Silverfield this past week, and he was saying, he's been coaching in the NFL, he's coached in college, not as a head coach, but part of staffs for 20-something years. Said there's never, ever been as tough a year as the one they just had.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So I think, David Cutcliffe, needs a little time and a spring to get all his stuff back together. And I'm glad that at least it's for next year and not this year that he's got the hot seat. And I'm glad for Justin Fuente because he could still turn things around. I don't know. You think Dino Babers, who you also have on that list, who seemed like the perfect fit at first at Syracuse, and then that is absolutely spiraled out of control.
Well, I think when they upset Clemson, then everybody thought that he was going to be the next great coach,
right?
And it just never worked out after that. Now Clay Helton, who a lot of people have declared fired every year, continues to hang in. I give him a lot of credit. Chip Kelly at 10-21. It seemed like they were picking it up a little bit, and David and Brad, and I know we're short on time, but I really thought that in that article the mentioning of Louisiana's Billy Napier, Jamie Chadwell, Lance Leopold, Sean Lewis. I was being a group of five fan as we are. Look, those guys have done a great job. Now their name has been mentioned, as we know, with some of these different jobs that came open. Hasn't come along yet. Suit me if they stayed in group of five for a while. But to me, it's just a matter of time before some of these guys we just mentioned have a Power 5 job.
They easily could. Every year you're hearing about Napier, so I suspect that will happen soon. Hugh Freeze is mentioned in that thing. I think it was also fair, and I'm glad in that article that with Clay Helton that you just mentioned that he's always on the hot seat. This might have been his best recruiting year. That has been the biggest knock on him. And so if he's got that solved, I know the guy knows offense. I think they'll be fine.
And you don't keep your job because you're a nice guy, but he is, and he basically is staying. I mean, he stood the test of time there. I mean, that's been tremendous pressure to get that going again, and it'll be great if he does it. Now, again, whoever comes after him may really reap the benefits of what he's done, but I am glad for now that he's righted the ship, and hopefully they will be better off in the near and distant future.
Brent, you take care. You be safe. Give us more rumors for next week. We'll dive into them, I promise.
Always enjoy it, guys.
Thank you.
Take care.
That is Brent Beard, our friend down in Jacksonville, our title sponsor for this hour of the programs. Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, home of the safest car. It was voted tied for the most safe car on the planet last year, and I think the cars are even better this year. I can tell you, my wife Santa Fe went through that snow like a hot knife through butter. No problem whatsoever. And then there's the Genesis cars. So hot right now. People love these cars that they don't stay on the lot for very long. You can get a G70, a G80, a G90. Now, I know they got some G80s and 90s. The 70s are hard to get. And the SUV, that new GV80, impossible. But they got a demo. If you would like to drive the demo, call my friend Vinny Gerard. He's now over all of the Genesis cars for Chris True's gang, and this is a gang that's been together for 13 years. Then he's been in the car business in Memphis, several different places. He is top-notch, and he knows this Genesis product. He knows how good it is. And they're so good, by the way, you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty on every new car. And the way that Vinny sees things, and really Chris True and all those folks, they've raised the bar on service. Every new car, Hyundai or Genesis, you get a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package complimentary. They want to take care of you. Go see for yourself. Get on Lamar, get into Mississippi, first exit's Craft Road, 10 minutes away, turn left, and see what I'm talking about. See how they've raised the bar, the way car business should be done. That's how they do it at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. We'll take a break. When we come back, I'm going to take a look at the Nets. We'll try to figure out which teams Memphis really should play next week in order to give them the best shot at the NCAA. This is Sports Time on Sports 56.
Basketball has met its match. It's Sports 56 mornings with your assist kings, Pete and Sane, bringing you the best alley-oops of informative sports talk. Great guests, calls and texts, prize giveaways, and more.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
Head on over to Frontier Western Store for their famous February sale. This is Frontier's biggest sale of the year, and it's time to save big on boots and apparel. All men's jeans are now on sale. Wrangler Carhartt pants, $5 off. Area denim is also $5 off. There are huge savings on Carhartt shirts as well. Select clearance shirts and outerwear up to 50% off. Area shirts and jackets discounted as well. Hurry in for the best selection. All novelty shirts, including Simply Southern, Girly Girl, and Puppy Love, are buy one, get one half price. Men's t-shirts by Live Oak and A-Boat, also included in this sale. Frontier has markdowns in the boot room as well. Hundreds of boots by Double H, Rocky, Durango, and Ariat, now priced to move to make room for new spring arrivals. Stop by Frontier today and grab your next pair of dress or work boots. It's the famous February sale at Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated since 1967.
The President's Day event is in full swing at Gossett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat on the Pike. And we're celebrating with 2020 Dodge Journey SE $19,990 or $249 a month. Or pump up your attitude with a 2021 Jeep Cherokee Latitude $21,740 or $277 a month. Or take your pick 2020 Ram 1500 Quad Cab Tradesman or 2021 Dodge Challenger XST $339 a month. It's your choice, Ram 1500 or Challenger. We Gossett at $339 a month. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat 1901 Covington Pike, or shop online GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Almost finance through Chrysler, all 3,500 cash down, 75 months at 4.19 APR. Journey LT 296,053, MSRP 26,860. Latitude MD 168,760, MSRP 27,805. 1500 LS 156,730, MSRP 35,185. Challenger MH 581,58, MSRP 31,160. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax on a license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 3/1/21. Dealer stock only.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Halfway home on a Tuesday on Sports Time. I think our producer, Gabe Kuhn, by the way, drew off, hopefully back soon. But he found this on the MLGTwitter.com account. It's MLGW crews hard at work, so you see them. We're working on a lot of the mains. This is all about the water and the boil order. The ruptured mains are all across Shelby County, and the work crew's working hard. The president says the patient is out of the ICU. So out of critical care, but still not out of the woods, I guess is the best way to put it, in terms of the boil water order. We'll let you know as soon as that thing gets lifted. So a little bit earlier.
Do you have hot water at your house?
Oh, yes. I never lost hot water. I never lost any water, but and my water pressure is not exactly what it was. But when
a trickling shower or Niagara Falls?
It's usually Niagara Falls. I wouldn't say it's a trickle. It got when the freeze first started, I will say, after that first big snowfall, the water pressure really significantly was much less than it is today, but it is not back to where it was. And they're telling you, like, you got to take a shower after a few days, right? I mean, you're going to go, okay, I'm going to soap up really good. Hope that takes care of if there's any contamination. There was no contamination ever found in any of the water of any story that I have read. They're trying to be on the safe side. I get that, because when water pressure gets really low, then there is a risk that there could be contamination. So I take the quick showers. I don't take them as long, and obviously I don't have as strong a jet. But we've never been totally without water. So
54 million gallons wasted.
Lost. Yeah, I know. That is. Where
did
terrible.
that go?
That is headed downward wherever gravity is taking it, back to the Mississippi River or someplace. I don't know. I really don't know. It's just lost. I mean, it is terrible. It really is. All right, so we also read on Twitter earlier from the Wichita State writer that the Tigers' schedule was possibly being accommodated for a game with Wichita State next Thursday. So if that's the case, that would replace the game that Memphis was going to have with Houston, because they're playing Houston on Sunday. I don't see how they could go back-to-back without a day's rest, although they could. They do it in tournaments, but I don't think that would be on the agenda. That would be really a difficult stretch. So here's the net. So the top net in the AAC is Houston, and they remain at 6. Boy, did they pound Cincinnati. I watched a replay of that last night a little bit.
Yeah, they took a lot of frustration out on them.
My good. I told you that was going to happen after they had lost to Wichita State, and they played poorly in that game. And they're vulnerable when they don't shoot well. And they didn't shoot well against East Carolina. They did not shoot well against Wichita State after they had built a pretty nice lead. SMU actually is second in the net, and there's a big jump. Houston 6, SMU 59, Memphis 61, Wichita State is 68. Cincinnati is at 130. Now there's a big jump because UCF and Tulsa are in between them, but I bring them up because they're a team Memphis will play. We know that for a fact on Sunday, this Sunday. And then South Florida, that they will play probably next Tuesday at South Florida. That is net number 149. I think a 149 on the road, I think that qualifies as a quad 2 if you're on the road at 149. So that is okay.
Well, that's generous.
Yeah. Cincinnati at 130. And that game's on the road, isn't it? I'm trying to remember.
At Cincinnati, yes.
Yeah. So that would be a quad 2.
The 28th. Tomorrow night gets you nothing, but just glad to be playing.
Yeah. It's a nice warm-up. And that, Tulane is not the lowest net team in the league anymore. They're at 156. Temple is the lowest, and Memphis is now not going to play Temple at all. I mean, the way it looks to me is Memphis is not going to play Temple. So here's how I think this is going to play out. And folks, this is speculation, but this is what I think is going to happen. I think you'll see Memphis will play Tulane tomorrow, at Cincinnati on Sunday. They will go to USF and play the Bulls on Tuesday. They will then travel and either go to Wichita State or Houston on Thursday, and they will play Houston at home on Sunday. I would rather them play Houston back-to-back. If you were to lose at Wichita State, that is costly. If you were to lose at Houston, it is not. They're a number 6 team. You're not expected to win that game. And then if you come home, now you've seen them, you know how you can play them, and you're at home, and you'll have some crowd there, you have a chance. And we've seen them lose on the road a couple of times already. You can beat them at home. And then you split with them, and you've got the 1-0 lead on Wichita State the only time you ever played them, and you beat them handily. I think it's better served for Memphis's interests to play Houston twice and forget that makeup game at Wichita State. Unless you can get them all in, and I don't see how you can.
And now I have to keep an eye on what SMU, what they will be doing, because they're one spot ahead of the Tigers in the net, and they split those two games with Memphis winning in Memphis and losing down at Moody in the close one. So SMU's one that you have to keep an eye on. It's not the Tigers. They have to do their business. They have to go out and win out, maybe lose one, but they're going to need a lot of other help, and it's just almost too many other moving parts to be that dependent on everything breaking your way. They probably need to run into SMU before that AAC final and beat them.
Yeah, let me look real quick here. I want to see the SMU schedule. I'm not sure, because their game tonight obviously has been canceled. I don't know when their pause is ending. Their game against Wichita State at Wichita State, both their games on the 25th and the 28th has been canceled. So this is why they're trying to shuffle around Wichita State and get them in. It really would have behooved Memphis to go to Wichita State instead of this Tulane game, but they're committed to the Tulane game. Probably need a game to get warmed up with. So those
12.5 point favorite already tomorrow night.
Wow. So those two games are already wiped out. Both the SMU games at Wichita State and the one against Wichita State on Thursday and Sunday gone. So all SMU has left are Cincinnati and Tulsa. Both the Cincinnati game is at Cincinnati. So if Memphis were to win, they would get past SMU in the net because they're playing if they win.
And non-conference game added for Houston on Thursday night when they will host Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky needs it a lot more than Houston.
Yeah. Well, that would be okay for that would be a decent. What is the net on Western Kentucky? I think they have a decent net, don't they?
75.
75. Okay. Yeah, well, Houston's got to win. I mean, if they want to keep their seed line, and what did I say? Didn't Palm have them as a 3? I think Mike DeCourcy, after they lost to Wichita State, moved them down a whole bunch, right? Didn't he? And we'll be talking with him.
Yeah, but right now
tomorrow,
Houston a 6 in the net, but pretty bold of them to play that quality of a game against Western Kentucky. They should win. They'll be favored, but it'll mean a lot more to Western Kentucky if they win it than it will be to Houston. But Houston needs that. They need the competition.
They want their seed line to stay where it is, 2 or 3. That's what their goal is for sure. I don't see how they can get to 2, frankly, with a loss to East Carolina and the loss to Wichita State. Because Wichita State, even with that win, only went to 68 in the net.
I think everybody's playing for third. We'll see with Baylor after their long absence tonight, but Gonzaga and Baylor just appear to be so far ahead of everyone else. I think there's a lot of different teams that can make a Final Four, which, that's 4 spots to make it. I don't think there are a lot of people that can win it all.
Well, I was watching Lenardi last night a little bit. I thought he put it perfectly. Where Baylor could end up, because they haven't played, if they went to a mini slump, it's pretty hard for them not to be a 1 seed. And I appreciated his explanation. So what he was saying was, if Baylor were to come out and lose a couple of games, they probably wouldn't lose the 1 seed, but they could move to the 4, which means that dream scenario of a championship Monday night with Baylor and Gonzaga under the spotlight could actually take place in the semifinal round if they were moved to a 4. We'll see how they come back from the pause. Different teams react different ways. We've seen what Michigan was able to do despite their pause, and then we've seen what happened with St. Louis and some other teams where they were just terrible after the pause. We're going to get a little look at that with Memphis tomorrow night.
We are tomorrow night at home. The Tigers haven't played a road game since January 28th.
Wow, that's right. And because they started all those games on the road. And then, part of this whole deal, winning 6 or 7, part of that is being at home. But there's still a lot to be decided on.
The conference honchos didn't seem like they wanted to reschedule a lot, kind of just play out as is, although they rescheduled a little, but they didn't a lot.
They aren't done yet. Well, let's wait to see what they actually announce, because
better
frankly,
do it. Not much time left.
Yeah, I don't really know what they're going to do. I really thought it was Houston. Now you got the Wichita State guy saying it's going to be Wichita State. I don't see how they could fit in 2 Houston games, a Wichita
Sunday.
State game, and all the rest that they're supposed to play. That would be probably 1 game too many for those legs, but we'll see. This portion of the show brought to you by Tiger Tail. That's the newest from Grind City Brewing. So good that it is now in Kroger's. There was such a demand for this wonderful malt liquor. I'm telling you, it is spectacular. It is not your father or your grandfather's malt liquor. That is the truth. So Grind City Brewing, is this dream of a father and son duo. They created this brewery that sits up in uptown Memphis, which is gorgeous, and the views are really good. There'll be concerts there this summer. But they have all kinds of wonderful craft beers, and they decided they're going to try a malt liquor. They're all about Memphis. They wanted to be connected to the U of M. They told the U of M their plans, and the athletic department said, we'll be the official craft beer. Make it Tiger Tail, and we're in, and they did. And it is truly wonderful. It comes in 16-ounce six-packs. It is loaded with flavor and alcohol, 7.5% alcohol content. It is crafted with a bold and a smooth flavor. It's got this finish that is just easy drinking, incredibly smooth as it goes down. And I think it's taken the city by storm. If you love new beers, you will love this. And now it's easier to get, too. You can get it in your spirit shop. You can get it at the brewery. But now you can get it in Kroger. Tiger Tail and Grind City Brewing, they're taking care of beerness in Memphis. We take care of hour number 2 in just a minute. We'll put a wrap on it on Sports Time on Sports 56.
Get happy with Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 3 on Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
Hey, I heard that you just got a new car.
Yes, I sure did, and I could not believe how simple it was.
Really? Tell me what happened.
I bought my car at Cars Inc. They are family owned, and the choices of cars were the best I've ever seen. They even said they could price match with anyone and help me with whatever financing I needed.
Wow, it does sound like they know what they are doing.
Their family has been in the car business for over 30 years, and they're excited about being in Memphis.
Where are they?
5095 Cummington Way, and their phone number is 901-623-7180.
Okay, set it down over there and then go to Bay 5.
Indeed knows unexpected growth can stretch your business thin.
We need to keep going to finish.
Like Amir's warehouse. To expand capacity, he needs to get started hiring right away.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. And the moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first sponsored job post. Terms and conditions apply.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
2021 is finally here. Might I suggest we start the wonderful new year with a makeover for your beautiful house. I'm Brian Elder. I'm a roofer. I fix roofs. Don't let them tell you that it has to be replaced when all it may need is some love. 867-0303. Let me love on your roof. I've made quite the reputation over the last decade as the guy to call after the insurance company denies the claim. Overturning a claim that has gone bad is an art form where you argue county code, manufacturer specs, and details of your policy that they have to abide by. So let me see it first. If I say it's a claim, it's a claim. 867-0303. Money is free at Brian Elder Roofing with 0% financing for half a decade. I'll measure your roof from outer space and get you a quote right over the phone. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
The President's Day event is in full swing at Gossett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat on the Pike. And we're celebrating with 2020 Dodge Journey SE $19,990 or $249 a month. Or pump up your attitude with a 2021 Jeep Cherokee Latitude $21,740 or $277 a month. Or take your pick 2020 Ram 1500 Quad Cab Tradesman or 2021 Dodge Challenger XST $339 a month. It's your choice, Ram 1500 or Challenger. We Gossett at $339 a month. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat 1901 Covington Pike or shop online GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Almost finance through Chrysler, all 3,500 cash down, 75 months at 4.19 APR. Journey LT 296,053, MSRP 26,860. Latitude MD 168,760, MSRP 27,805. 1500 LS 156,730, MSRP 35,185. Challenger MH 581,58, MSRP 31,160. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax on a license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 3/1/21. Dealer stock only.
Now with Taco Bell's app, you can build a box filled with your favorites for just $5. Personally, I go with the Chalupa.
What? You mean Crunch Wrap Supreme? Plus that beefy 5-layer burrito?
Perhaps you meant bean burrito, grilled with chips and nacho
nacho cheese sauce.
Nah, you got a vibe with cinnamon twists and a Baja Blast.
Eat like you with Taco Bell's $5 Build Your Own Cravings box, exclusively online or with the Taco Bell app. Must make selections from predetermined menu items at limited participating U.S. locations for a limited time online or in the Taco Bell app only. Contact store for prices and participation which vary. Drinks exclude freezes, tax extra.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Cruising through our second hour, keeping an eye on the Tiger Woods story. We're getting a little bit more from an update from the LA Times from about 15 minutes ago. We're learning more. The accident, one-car vehicle rollover crash on the border of Rolling Hill Estates and Rancho Palos Verdes near L.A. came apparently at 7:12 a.m. is when that occurred. So this morning, about 9:12 Memphis time. And Woods was traveling apparently at a high rate of speed, lost control of the vehicle. It crossed the center divider, and that when it came to a stop, it rolled over several times. Woods had to be extracted from the windshield of the SUV that he was driving. He was the lone occupant of the vehicle. Another car which had stopped on the side of the road to assist Woods shortly after the accident was also struck by another vehicle that was coming over the hill. That incident was a minor traffic incident with no injuries. The exact extent of the Woods injuries still unclear, as is really the cause except for excessive speed. Apparently, Woods' agent, Mark Steinberg, has said he suffered multiple leg injuries. He was in surgery. They asked for your privacy and your support. According to NBC News, he is undergoing treatment of compound fractures on at least one leg. And again, the Woods injuries are non-life-threatening. He was in California for a 2-day content shoot with Golf Digest after serving as host for the PGA Tour's Genesis Invitational over the weekend.
It is being reported now he was on his way. Yesterday, he did a photo shoot with Dwayne Wade, and today was headed to play golf and do a photo shoot with Drew Brees and Justin Herbert. This is according to ESPN and CNN.
And apparently, according to I think it was the LA Times report, he was just going too fast and lost control, went over the center divider and then down a ravine with the car rolled over several times. Again, though, the best part of this story is the injuries, severe as they are not life-threatening. So that is the latest on
because
that.
The first reports of this, it didn't feel like it was going to have even this conclusion, and I think already progress and prayers and very fortunate to be at this point. LA Sheriff's Office will hold a news conference at 5 Memphis time, 3 o'clock left coast time, and you just wondering with the speeding, Dave, and something that it's also very instinctive to do. When if something ran in front of you, an animal or something,
sure.
If you tried to swerve, if that caused the rollover effect, pure speculation on my part. But as much as you can tell yourself, do not, swerve quickly, you still do. I mean, it's just an instinct when something runs in front of you, you grab that wheel.
Well, and let's face it, he lives in Florida. He's probably not that familiar with these roads. He was coming from his hotel. If we're trying to be logical here, you would think he was going to play golf and do a photo shoot with Drew Brees. So there's not going to be any kind of alcohol or painkillers or anything of that nature. This is just a simple accident where maybe he was a little behind. It was 7:12. He had to get there by 7:30, and he was driving a little too fast. Maybe something came out, as you just said, in front, tried to swerve away, was going too fast, lost control of the car, and, The rest is
don't
history.
rush.
Yeah.
And maybe run a minute or two late and rushing, but don't rush Tiger. They weren't starting without you because you're the biggest sports star of our time.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. I wanted to. I saw this very interesting little compilation of stats earlier today that I thought you would find impressive. It is on the transfer portal, and the numbers, and we've talked about this before. How many in this wild west moment? How many transfers? And I got the total players in the transfer portal for all of the SEC teams, and it makes sense. Tennessee is number one because they had a coaching change. 25 players on the Tennessee roster from last year.
A signing class.
A signing class, exactly. 25 are in the transfer portal. Mississippi State is second. Well, they got a new coach the year before, but this is the after effect of
but he
that.
said he told a lot of them hit the door, too.
Right. 18 there. Vandy with 15. Missouri, another new coach, 12. South Carolina, 11. Auburn, 11. A&M, 11. LSU, 10. Georgia, Arkansas, both 9. Florida, Ole Miss, both 8. And Alabama with only 6, because everybody's happy in Alabama unless you're not getting any playing time. And 5 from Kentucky, that's it. So Alabama, Kentucky on the very lowest end. Florida and Ole Miss really comfortable there. Most people happy. But it's Tennessee and Mississippi State by far the most in the transfer portal. That's 2 hours in the books. When we come back, Bo Marchant, who just tweeted something out about this being maybe the craziest offseason ever in the history of the NFL. You started it with all those changing quarterbacks, Brett. You began this revolution that is continuing, and Bo will talk about it in just a minute.
I want to do some bragging rights. Hey, I was just the other day overhearing a conversation with Big Mike, the manager of DeSoto Auto Sales. They've got people buying cars all over the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. People from all over the country buy cars at DeSoto Auto Sales in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Why? DeSoto Auto Sales has the most stringent car inspection in America. They get it right the first time. Quality and low mileage, factory warranty on most vehicles. My favorite part is the people who work there. Big Mike, all the employees are professional, friendly, and go that extra mile. Expect as you walk in the door, you're treated like family. DeSoto Auto Sales understands your time matters. We can help you find your dream car and get all the paperwork finished in less than an hour. Come see us at DeSoto Auto Sales and be part of our family. Have a great buying experience every time. 662-890-7184.
This is a job alert. If you're looking for work, this will interest you, whether you're looking for full-time, part-time, or even something temporary if you've been recently furloughed. Text 107-JOB to 49330. That's 107-JOB to 49330. Office work available now in a clean office environment with all COVID precautions taken. Text 107-JOB to 49330 and someone will be in touch about these job opportunities available now. Text 107-JOB to 49330.
If you're going on vacation, making a college campus visit, or if business takes you out of town, there's just no better place to board your dog than Barks and Recreation, 965 Reddick Cove between Bud Davis Cadillac and the Blue Plate Cafe in East Memphis. Boarding, daycare, grooming, we have the best of everything at Barks. Indoor-outdoor kennels so your family member can go in and out as they please. Indoor and outdoor play areas. 4 walks a day. Group play and individual attention from the best staff in the Mid-South, which includes an overnight staff to ensure the safety and comfort of your pet 24 hours a day. All reasons to choose Barks and Recreation above all other boarding and daycare facilities. BarksDaycare.com or 509-0909. Check us out and make your reservations now at BarksDaycare.com. If your dog could speak, he'd say barks.
The President's Day sales event is going strong at Gossett Kia on Covington Pike. 2021 Kia Forte $133 a month lease. That's less than $5 a day for a new ride. 2021 Kia Soul, completely redesigned exterior and interior, $149 a month lease. And 2021 Kia K5, just $182 a month lease. All 36 months with $3149 due at signing, and they all come with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So let's conquer the cold and gear up for winter in your new Kia from Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online at KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36-month leases, $3149 due at signing, 0 security deposit, 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, $650 acquisition fee, Forte, ME3 19038, MSRP $20,625, Soul, M7755 $638, MSRP $20,660, K5 MG 005560, MSRP $25,725, includes all manufacturer rebates and incentives, PF $695, excludes tax title license, with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 3/1/21, dealer stock only.
Looking for a great place to deposit your money? Try First Bank. Competitive CD rates, a money market that moves with Wall Street prime and interest-bearing checking account options. Not to mention their friendly bankers who make decisions locally. To find out more, stop by one of First Bank's 3 local branches. 6482 Poplar Avenue, just east of International Paper. 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase. And 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or visit firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Waldo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
NFL talk and the latest on the Tiger Woods accident. But first, I want to tell you about our title sponsor for this hour, and that's DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales. Check out all the happy referrals and look at the beautiful cars at DeSotoAutosales.com. But on a day like this and a day like forecasted for tomorrow, get down to 5704 Goodman Road and check out those cars for yourself. They are all checked out, all the cars from bumper to bumper, head to toe, unlimited inventory, every make, every model. And if by chance it's not on the lot, they'll go out and find the car you want just for you. No shortcuts taken at DeSoto Auto Sales. When you walk in, you're treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid back, down home environment, no high pressure sales, but they care about your time and want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. Find the car you want, test drive that car, credit approved, paperwork completed, all in 45 minutes or less. They know we live in a world today that time really matters, and that's why they keep it very simple for you. At DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road, visit their website at DeSotoAutosales.com, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales.
We are about to chat with our good friend from collegetopro.com. We tweeted out something today. I'll get to that in a second. We do want to remind everybody today the big story is the automobile crash in Los Angeles. Tiger Woods lost control of his car early in the morning in L.A., 7:12 their time, on his way to a photo shoot and around the golf with Drew Brees. The car went over the center divider, down a ravine, rolled over several times, and Tiger had to be extracted from the car through the windshield. He was rushed to the hospital. He went into surgery for non-life-threatening injuries. They are leg injuries, and we will try to keep you updated as quickly as we can. Apparently, there is going to be a press conference about this time in L.A. We'll monitor that for you and let you know exactly what they will share with all of us. But the injury is severe, but not life-threatening. And Tiger Woods, last we heard, was in surgery. I think the LA Times said it was compound fractures. In the meantime, Beau Marchant tweeted out today, this will be maybe the wildest offseason in the history of the National Football League. What makes you so sure? Craziness is going to be everywhere.
I think it starts with the most dominant position, and it's what we talked about last week was Brett saying that, possible 14 quarterback changes, and, the day after that or a couple days after that, we get Wentz and, the trade to Indianapolis, which opens up the starting quarterback role for Jalen Hurts. So we have two more teams that are going to have different quarterbacks as Brett's prediction looks like it's going to become true. And, I just think there's so much jockeying of quarterbacks changing scenery. And when you think about the high-profile quarterbacks, Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff, Carson Wentz, Jalen Hurts, those are enough, I think, within a offseason at this point without moving forward, that we still have the NFL draft and we still have a litany of NFL teams with scrutiny at the quarterback position, and we don't know what they're going to do. We're not going to know who some of these guys are. Prolific names: Matt Ryan, Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, I think it's pretty much we know Drew Brees is probably going to retire. That's basically a fact. He's going to be a June 1 cut. They dropped his salary down to $1 million, the lowest amount he could take. So I think that's pretty concrete. But I just think the quarterback landscape is going to make this offseason crazy.
Yeah, it looks like it, Bo, and even now reports with Arthur Smith in Atlanta that they are weighing whether to draft the quarterback from BYU with their pick in the first round, very early pick for him, and maybe move on from Matt Ryan. And the strategy of that would be, why put off until next year what you have to do this year? Go ahead and do it and move on from Matt Ryan. Well, if they move on from Matt Ryan, I'm going to get there easy with my prediction. And you're right, last week Carson Wentz to Indianapolis started. He's going to start over. Big cap hit to the Eagles. They knew that, but he took out a lot of people in Philadelphia. He forced them to trade Nick Foles, the Super Bowl hero. He cost Super Bowl winning coach in Philadelphia, and those things haven't gone in a sentence very often in Philadelphia. He cost him his job, and now he's out. But I do think there's good football left in him, and he's going to a much better situation. The Colts offensive line, led by Ryan Kelly at center, maybe the best center in the league, they're a lot better than the Eagles. Their running game's better with what was the rookie last year from Wisconsin going into his second year, and his wideouts are better. He's going to a more talented team, so now we're going to see if he can really do it or not.
Yeah, I'm always excited because I'm not saying I have a long list, but I have a short Rolodex of GMs that I can actually text. And when I got done running and I heard the news broke of Wentz getting traded, I immediately texted Chris Ballard, the GM for the Colts, and I applauded the move. I love the move. I think I love the move from all areas. I mean, Philadelphia needed to move on from Carson Wentz. They wanted to give the reins to Jalen Hurts. And then on the opposite side, the Colts were looking for a new franchise quarterback. We know the connection between Frank Reich. That was when Carson Wentz prospered the most, when he was under his tutelage as the QB coach. Now he's the head coach with the Colts. So I just think it's a perfect thing. The Colts had the cap money to do it. And the one thing I really loved about the move was, the Colts protected themselves in terms of, is he going to be available if he's going to stay healthy? And, the draft picks are going to be determined on how many games Carson Wentz plays. And I still think that's a little bit of the genes that Chris Ballard is saying, listen, we do love this guy. We do want to bring him in. That's why they made the trade. That's why they're going to absorb the big cash bid. But at the end of the day, these are some of the things. He's how many times was he not able to finish this season? The last playoff game he played I think he completed 6 attempts and then he was out because he got hurt again. So at the end of the day, they covered their back end, and I really like the move. But he needed a fresh start, and I said it so many times. He was snake bitten from the time Nick Foles hoisted the Lombardi Trophy because, one, we know it's just so hard to get there. And in the moment, you think, wow, how's this team ever going to lose? But it's just hard to repeat. It's hard to win back-to-back. We saw it with the Chiefs. I mean, that team dominated basically the entire season, and they had a horrific game in the Super Bowl, and they're not able to capture a back-to-back title. So I think it was a fresh start for Carson Wentz. He's always going to live in the shadow of Nick Foles, the city of brotherly love. The brother's always going to be Nick Foles because he brought him the ultimate thing, and that was the Super Bowl trophy, something Wentz wasn't able to do.
I'm not sure about Wentz. I know the Bears were in the market for a little bit with him, and I was frankly glad that it didn't go their way. And I think it is a better fit for him because of Reich in Indy. I agree with that, but I think there's a big question mark there. So I'm going to ask you, of all the deals so far, or potential deals, which one will end up being the best? Is Stafford moving away from Detroit, is that the best quarterback deal so far?
You know what? I like the Colts deal, Dave. I really do. You know, the Stafford deal, I know Jared Goff fell off the earth. I mean, and that's why they got rid of him. And, you know, even when he was hurt and, you know, I remember the line came out when they were playing and the backup came in. The line wasn't going to change if Goff played or not, which I thought it was a amazing statistic or betting stat to think that Jared Goff out of the lineup and the backup coming in doesn't move the line. I thought, well, that just shows you what Vegas thinks of Jared Goff. But, you know, I think, you know, the Rams, I still think they need their McVay needs I think the identity of that team's a little bit corrupted in terms of what we saw with their best success with Todd Gurley and a potent offense to what they did last year. I still think they're finding themselves. But at the end of the day, this is why I'm all in on Wentz going to Indianapolis. I mean, Doug Peterson basically, to me, he ran himself out of Philly because he didn't run the ball. They could not pass protect Carson Wentz.
Oh, he made many dumb strategic moves. I
yeah,
got three or four.
Yeah. And then it was Greg Ward, undrafted. Travis Fulgham, undrafted. I mean, those were his top two targets. I mean, you know, Philadelphia was always in the market. Every time a big name receiver would come up, they would always be rumored, you know, rumored to Antonio Brown, rumored to this guy. They never really gave that supporting cast. You know, they had it during the Super Bowl and Jeffries, but that was a Cinderella run. But I just think better weapons. I mean, Michael Pittman out of USC, the rookie last year, he came back middle of the season. I think he's going to be a name that we start talking about as he grows and really builds himself into a heck of a number one type quality receiver. That's going to become his number one target in Indianapolis. So right now, I just think that the team as a whole, fantastic defense. They have a lot of nice young pieces. They have cap space. They still have a ton of cap room. They have their draft picks. They still have a number one. I just like the Wentz deal. And I mean, Stafford, yes. And even the Lions, I think the Lions helped themselves. You know, they got the picks. They got, you know, they got a serviceable quarterback in Jared Goff. I mean, it's not like they just got a throwaway guy. I mean, you know, he could resurrect his career and have success. And again, on the backside, and Jalen Hurts. I mean, I love Jalen Hurts. I mean, when I look at athletes that have, you know, endured some real heartache in their careers and took it on the chin and just held their heads high and continued to thrive. And I've said it so many times, absent of Joe Burrow having a season like we've never seen at LSU, Jalen Hurts' numbers in one season at Oklahoma were astonishing, but, you know, they were just back page news because of the phenomenon that was going on, you know, in Louisiana and Baton Rouge. But at the end of the day, I still like the Wentz move. And the best part, guys, going back to that tweet earlier, is I still think we're going to have plenty more weeks as we build towards the 2021 NFL draft, where we're going to be talking about, wow, you know, I can't believe this quarterback is here or this quarterback is no longer playing. It's going to be a lot of quarterback news. And again, the most powerful position in all of sports, and we're going to have the most change of scenery with it.
Well, but we are, and one reason why we are, and it's why it's the best offseason in all of sports, is because the NFL, they do their free agency first, and then they do their draft. I mean, imagine around here because the NBA does a really good offseason. In fact, the sport most known for the hot stove, for the great offseason, it does it worse than anybody now, and that's baseball. But the NBA is good. If the NBA would switch and do free agency first and then draft, it might supplant the NFL. But right now, the NFL, it has the intrigue. There was intrigue today. I don't know if y'all caught it, and especially as the day broke, we all went to the Tiger Woods story. But I read it early this morning. The ESPN, it's long form. It's War and Peace. But DeMaurice Smith, his time's almost up. And it's good enough for him, Bo, and we talked about it at the time. It was a lot of nerve for him to come in and trash Gene Upshaw so brazenly and blatantly like he did. And now this story basically lays out that he's in the hip pocket of Goodell, as he always accused Gene Upshaw of being.
Yeah, it's you know, don't throw rocks if you live in a glass house, as the saying goes. And you know, yeah, I remember that. And I think anyone who just loves football, I think you have a soft spot for Gene Upshaw. So, I mean, from that point, you know, he's a former player who succeeded into the role as, you know, president of the union. Yeah, it's just beautiful. And, you know, you just has that lineage of NFL history in him and playing for Al Davis. There's just so much historic value there. And then you have, DeMaurice Smith. And, I'm around enough agents. I'm down there at the
Who's
combine.
done nothing.
I'm outside. And when these guys walk out of the room, I hear what they say. And most of the time, it's not pleasant. It's not flattering. There's a lot of hypocrisy, if you will, when these guys go in there and they have to hear, some of the verbiage that goes on. But, it's one of those things. You can't please everybody. At the end of the day, though, I think the other news is, it looks like, if the contracts come out, that they will move to a 17-game schedule. So I think that's something that's going to be significant. And, it's just going to come down to money. But at the end of the day, I think the money will be there. And I know ESPN wants a better deal. They want, better TV, options on games. The mention of
they won't double.
The hosting a Super Bowl. I mean, there's a lot of things that they want. And, and I think if you really break down the contract compared to, the other contracts and what other, television stations get compared to what, they have, I could see where they're rubbed a little bit a long way because they're really, they're paying a hefty fee for, not as much as everybody else is getting. They're kind of like the last, horse to the trough, if you will. So, I think that would be interesting, but the way it sounds is, that 17-game schedule is going to be a very realistic thing. And, and I don't think that'll be a problem again, as long as everyone's getting paid. NFL can talk about safety, players can talk about safety, but at the end of the day, they want money, players want more money, and, basically everybody wants more money, guys. And as long as everyone gets that, everybody will go happy with an extra game.
All right, a couple of things here on that. 17 games means you're going to do away with at least one exhibition game, maybe two, right? That'll be a bargaining chip, I would suspect. And then I want you to go over that television news again a little bit more closely. Obviously, if ESPN is trying to get more leverage for better games, they're going to pay more money, although they pay a pretty price for Monday Night Football. And they have not gotten the best game that has gone to Sunday Night Football. That was by design, that they wanted to put that on the over-the-air on NBC, and NBC paid a lot of money. But I think ESPN was actually still paying more money. Well, how do those break down?
In terms of?
Dollars and priority.
Well, I don't know. I mean, more money is going to have to come up from ESPN, and even though they're already paying a hefty fee for the rights to host those games. But at the end of the day, the NFL, I think they're going to have to bend a little bit and give Disney, ESPN, however you want to phrase it, a better program lineup so they get what they want. And, the whole point of them doing this is they want to have the games, the marquee matchups, so they can make revenue, so they can have the advertisers. And, we see the Thursday night games. They're always lousy lineups. You hope for a great game, but, the teams that go into it nationally aren't, you're not actually getting excited to see the Lions versus the Jaguars on Thursday night. That's not what you're getting excited for, but at the end of the day, that's the Thursday night package. But Monday Night Football, they want to resurrect it and bring it to the premium that we all remember it as, the NFL and Disney, and, they're going to have to kind of come to some sort of conclusion where they get a better lineup. But I think that's all going to come to fruition. I think they are going to get a better deal. I don't know if they're going to get a Super Bowl. That's a tricky spot. But I do believe that they're going to be able to, work it where, it's going to be a better lineup for Monday. And I think that's just beneficial to all of us.
They may not get a Super Bowl, but what they do want is ESPN for double, and they went from $1.1 billion to $1.9 billion, almost double last time, and they're talking about doubling again. ESPN, Disney, ABC, they want a second Monday night game. They want a regular 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock game.
Wow.
Like they do on that first week.
A doubleheader every Monday night?
Yes.
Wow.
Wow, that's intense. There was something neat when the Steelers played on Wednesday. 4 o'clock or whenever that game was. There was something weird about it.
Yeah.
Kind of like.
But
like
you know what that does?
Matinee.
But that's a one-time deal. I see how it's
Yeah, it
special
is.
one time.
It is.
I think that would get old every week.
But guess what gets devalued if you have your NBC Sunday night game. Let's say you have 2 on Monday night. You have the Thursday night game. You have the big primetime Sunday afternoon game, the Fox game of the week. Guess what gets devalued? NFL Sunday Ticket. because then you're not as prone to have that if they're spread out that much and not on at the same time.
How much do they make from that as opposed to doubling the ESPN Monday night rights?
I'd think double would be more.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, and even the double Monday night game, for me, when I think about it, though, it's about being able to sit down and watch the games. And I don't know how many people are going to be able to sit down. If you're going to invest the weekend, college football, NFL football, and then Monday being able to say, hey, you know what, I'm going to invest another 6 hours, into
and stay up till midnight.
Yeah, that's a hard.
I have trouble staying to halftime after a weekend that I have, and now a 6 o'clock start would be intriguing. You could really lock in on that first game, and I would assume the more later game would be more West Coast for the live audience crowd. If we still care about live audience, I don't know that they do.
And even and as much as I would think, well, I'm not. I mean, I'm always up. I'm always watching it. I mean, I have to. Even when I have to. It's kind of like a superstitious thing. I have to watch.
I do too.
I have to watch.
It's going to make Tuesday
to watch
tough.
The final play. I just do.
I wonder, as we go through the day, now let's face it, the Sunday night game is the best game. Usually the 3 o'clock Fox game is the second, or third best game, depending on what the Monday night matchup is. But does viewership, and I'm sure ESPN looked at all this, does viewership dwindle as the day goes on Sunday? Because that would be a big point about your thing about having two on Monday. Would you keep the audience? And there would be geography. I'm sure West Coast games would become involved. You're not going to start a game at 10 o'clock Eastern time in New York for sure. That'd be the early game. But
you start them at 9 o'clock Eastern time, though, Dave. On Monday night,
8 o'clock Memphis time. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, there is. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I mean, you know what? If they do it, but I think I don't know this, but I mean, I still think less is better. We all know you got Sunday, you have Monday, then you have Thursday. You're right back into it.
But when do we do less?
I do think you don't want to get oversaturated, and I'm going to watch it because it's what I do, and I'm going to watch it anyways, regardless. I'm going to watch it, but I don't think the hunger. I think you're being more force-fed than being hungry for it. I think your appetite's kind of suppressed by Sunday. And Monday night's the appetite, the dessert. You're just kind of going into it. You got a whole week of football. Monday night you read back, and now you got 2 games again, 6 hours. I mean, that's 6 to midnight. That's 6 hours. That's a long Monday night. So
and it may take a second. If I recall, initially the Thursday night games were terrible. They didn't get any kind of numbers, did they?
No. Well, and plus they were putting lousy games.
Right.
One it was us getting adjusted to it, and them, putting on the worst teams that the Jets and the Lions or the Jaguars. And you're like, wow, But that said, and this is the. I actually adore those games because I'd much rather watch the Jets play the Jaguars because they're both equally bad. So it kind of turns into a good game.
Right. Sure.
Yeah. So I actually relish in those type of games because it's just one, you want to see everybody and see a different face. You don't want to see Patrick Mahomes every single night, but that's what it is, and you can't argue it. But I do like seeing a little bit. But I like it when both teams are bad. It usually makes for better product and a better game. But you never want to see the powerhouse versus a lousy team because then we always know what the outcome's going to be. It's not going to be a good game.
And if there is 17 games, what happens to the exhibition season?
Dave, I think they definitely take 1 or 2 games off. I will put it this way: if it goes, and I don't know, it's my opinion here. If they go 17 games, and you could probably put it, if you're going to add a regular season game, you can guarantee they're going to take at least 1 preseason, if not 2, but definitely 1. And I know Kevin Colbert, when we did the Zoom call last week, he said as of now everything's planned to be normal, absent of any COVID related issues. Where they're going to Canton, they're going to play that Hall of Fame game, and then have a full docket of preseason games. So I still think they like it, but we did see last year that without any preseason games, the NFL came out with a pretty good product week 1. But so I think that lends some credence to say, hey, you know what? We're definitely taking a preseason game away, maybe 2.
All right. That sounds fair to me. I'll take an extra. I will take a regular season game and lose 2 meaningless exhibition games any day of the week. I'm 100% for that.
I got to be, as much as I love the preseason and watching these guys, make their last fight to make the roster, I would do that myself. One regular season game, I think, would be much more beneficial. And this is the selfish part of me. It just means if I have to go to a game, it means it's a regular season game that I have to cover rather than a preseason game. So it's a selfish move.
There you go. Thank you, my friend. As always, we appreciate it. We'll there'll be quarterback moves probably by next week, so we'll talk about that. And remember, the father of this revolution of the offseason at the quarterback position is Brett Norsworthy.
He is, and he's on a roll. He's trending in the right way.
He's trending in the exact right way. Thank you, Bo.
Thank you, Bo.
Have a great one. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
You got it, man.
That is Bo Marchand, brought to you by Homer Skelton, Hyundai and Olive Branch, Genesis of Olive Branch. They're all about service, both for the Hyundais and the Genesis cars. Wait till you see the way they are remodeling this fantastic place. It'll be a palace at Craft Road and Highway 78. Out of 355 dealers of Genesis cars, 355, Little Olive Branch, where Genesis of Olive Branch was in the top 50 nationally. And remember, the formula that they use is big cities involved with big numbers, and yet they're in the top 50. In the region, they're in the top 10. That's got some big cities in it. And then number 2 in the district, they've been number 1. They just want to serve you. That's their whole thing. They want to be the place you go that you will absolutely love the way they treat you and they take care of you. Look, every new car, Hyundai or Genesis, you get a 3 or 36,000-mile maintenance package on the house because they want to take care of you. And they do. And the product's so good it's going to last forever. I mean, you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty on every new car. And then they become great older cars. That's why for 14 years in a row, this is Ray Melton's department, they have been the number 1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. Please see what I'm talking about. Get on Lamar, go into Mississippi, Craft Road, first exit, turn left, you're there. Go see this group that Chris True has put together. They've been together 13 years. You'll understand and appreciate just how good they are at Homer Skelton, Hyundai, and Genesis of Olive Branch. Back in just a minute. This is Sports Time on Sports 56.
Same great shows.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays.
What's up? It's Sports 56 Happy Hour.
A new spot on the FM dial. Check out Sports 56 on our new FM home at 98.5.
The President's Day sales event is going strong at Gossett Kia on Covington Pike. 2021 Kia Forte $133 a month lease. That's less than $5 a day for a new ride. 2021 Kia Soul completely redesigned exterior and interior $149 a month lease. And 2021 Kia K5 just $182 a month lease. All 36 months with $3149 due at signing, and they all come with Kia's 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So let's conquer the cold and gear up for winter in your new Kia from Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike, or online at KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36-month leases, $3149 due at signing, 0 security deposit, 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, $650 acquisition fee, Forte, ME3 19038, MSRP $20,625, Soul, M7755 $638, MSRP $20,660, K5 MG 005560, MSRP $25,725, includes all manufacturer rebates and incentives, PF $695, excludes tax title and license, with approved credit, see dealer for complete details, offer valid through 3/1/21, dealer stock only.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Ben Swinger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 125 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Ben Swinger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. 2 Memphis locations, one in Midtown
on Hollywood Street across from the Liberty Bowl,
and one in Cordova
off Germantown Parkway next to the Fox and Hound.
Visit their website, benswingerglass.com. Ben Swinger Glass.
The President's Day event is in full swing at Gossett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat on the Pike. And we're celebrating with 2020 Dodge Journey SE $19,990 or $249 a month. Or pump up your attitude with a 2021 Jeep Cherokee Latitude $21,740 or $277 a month. Or take your pick 2020 Ram 1500 Quad Cab Tradesman or 2021 Dodge Challenger XST $339 a month. It's your choice, Ram 1500 or Challenger. We Gossett at $339 a month. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat 1901 Covington Piper. Shop online GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Almost financed through Chrysler, all 3,500 cash down, 75 months at 4.19 APR. Journey LT 296,053, MSRP 26,860. Latitude MD 168,760, MSRP 27,805. 1500 LS 156,730, MSRP 35,185. Challenger MH 581,58, MSRP 31,160. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax on a license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 3/1/21. Dealer stock only.
If you're going on vacation, making a college campus visit, or if business takes you out of town, there's just no better place to board your dog than Barks and Recreation, 965 Ruddock Cove between Bud Davis Cadillac and the Blue Plate Cafe in East Memphis. Boarding, daycare, grooming, we have the best of everything at Barks. Indoor-outdoor kennels so your family member can go in and out as they please. Indoor and outdoor play areas. 4 walks a day, group play, and individual attention from the best staff in the Mid-South, which includes an overnight staff to ensure the safety and comfort of your pet 24 hours a day. All reasons to choose Barks and Recreation above all other boarding and daycare facilities. BarksDaycare.com or 509-0909. Check us out and make your reservations now at BarksDaycare.com. If your dog could speak, he'd say Barks.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Halfway through our final hour, brought to you by good buddy Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. Ken's a guy, I love talking about Ken because he's one of those rare folks that sees the little details of things and yet sees the big picture all at once. Perfect for a guy who's going to build your dream home. And that's what he and his dad have done for about 50 years. 2 generations of custom home building. And I mean beautiful palaces, or they'll take your old home with renovation. I call it renovation with innovation. That old home becomes a modern palace. Go see what I'm talking about. Go to KenGarland.com and then give him a call, 751-1632. You'll love chatting with him. If you have land in your family, you've been dreaming about this home, you're not sure how to use the land, Ken will know. If you're looking for land, Ken's got some. If you're doing that renovation, Ken's got the know-how for sure. And he understands the big decision, the commitment you're making. That's why he works closely with all his clients, ensuring they get exactly what they want and expect. That's quality construction on time, on budget. That is what he does. Go check him out, KenGarland.com, Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. Story of the day is the automobile crash, an SUV in Los Angeles. Outside of it, Tiger Woods on his way to the golf course for a photo shoot in the game of golf with Drew Brees, 7:12 L.A. time. He lost control of his car, went through the center divider over a ravine. The car rolled over several times. Apparently, he was wearing a seatbelt. That stretch of road is an accident area. It is downhill. People tend to go too fast. Obviously, Tiger was. He was removed from the vehicle through the windshield using an axe. And we are able to listen in short clip here on a press conference they just had from the Los Angeles County Sheriff, Alex Villanueva, who discussed what happened at the scene.
Today at 7:12 in the morning, Lomita Sheriff Station received a call of a solo vehicle collision in Hawthorne Boulevard, north of Carlos Verdes Drive. We arrived on scene at 7:18 a.m. and discovered the solo vehicle collision, and the sole occupant was, again, Tiger Woods, and deputies At the time, they did not see any evidence of impairment, anything that of concern. Obviously, the life-saving measures that had to be taken for the occupant of the vehicle, and Chief Osby will speak to that regard. And it was a solo vehicle. Unfortunately, during the course of the investigation of this, there was another traffic collision that happened with people being looky-loos. But thankfully, there was no injuries associated with that. The vehicle traveled several hundred feet from the center divider at the intersection and rested on the west side of the road in the brush. Sustained major damage to the vehicle. You've seen all the images of that. And with that, our Lomita Sheriff Station will be conducting the traffic investigation, and they'll take from days to several weeks to get the whole thing together. Once the investigation is completed, we will provide a detailed report. It'll be available, based on public record act request, and we will not discuss it any further after that point.
He did go to the hospital, as I think we said before. He had undergone surgery. The LA Times has reported that the surgeries involved compound fractures of at least one leg. And the best part of this, Brett Norsworthy, is every outlet has reported. And Michael Eaves from ESPN, former Sports 56er, reported that all of these injuries, as severe as they may be, are not life-threatening.
That is the best news. That is the best news for Tiger, for the sporting world, for his little children, and for his mother and his closest friends. And I know in the days and weeks ahead we'll start talking about when, if, back to the golf course, when, if he'll win again. We were already doing that yesterday, just with the Sunday afternoon availability he gave to CBS and to Jim Nance in an interview at the tournament he was hosting at Riviera. But on Sunday it didn't feel like there were many wins left in Tiger Woods, and now at 45 and have to overcome these lower extremity, very serious injuries, it may be the tallest mountain yet for him to climb on the golf course. But I can tell you this, Dave, I ain't counting Tiger Woods out ever.
I am not either, but I think we both commented, and I've heard other people talk about that Jim Nance interview, which by no means was that a charismatic, real revealing interview. You sort of had to read between the lines.
He seemed a little defeated.
He seemed two things. He seemed very at peace with himself, and he did not seem like a guy that was really in any hurry to get back. He wasn't going to give anything away. He never does. Let's be honest. The guy never says anything in every story he's ever had to break. He did it on his own website, or through his own social media. He never went to any specific entity, 60 Minutes, Sports Illustrated, HBO Real Sports. He never, ever picked like one entity and said, okay, I'm breaking it with you because I like you, I trust you, whatever it may be. He never did that. He did it on his own website or his own social media outlets. And, when he did that thing with Nance, it looked to me like a guy, I won that 15th major. I got another green jacket. I proved to my kids what I was all about. I love being their dad. I love not having to worry about too much. And if I can play, yeah, I still want to play. I still have the fire. But, I'm okay. And I'm reading between the lines. I'm speculating. But I'm okay with however it all turns out, because what more have I really got to prove except try to win one more tournament to break Snead's record and 3 more majors to tie, 4 to break Jack Nicklaus. And he mentioned 5 back surgeries. He himself mentioned that. And he's only got 1 back. He said that very clearly. It seemed to me, and there's irony to this because he just now has this crash, but he was not in any major hurry to get back to competitive golf, or at least that's how I perceived that interview.
And the whole sports world has responded, especially golf. Jack and Barbara Nicklaus, as usual, top shelf, first class. And Augusta National Chairman Fred Ridley released this statement, quote, Tiger Woods is a part of the Augusta National family, and the news of his accident is upsetting to all of us. We pray for him, for his full recovery, and for his family during this difficult time, end of quote. He is as central to Augusta National as anyone. including Jack Nicklaus with 6. I know 6 beats 5.
It does.
But what Tiger did to get that 5th, it was quite something.
Well, you think of Augusta, and you think obviously of Bobby Jones, who started it all. You think of Roberts, Clifford Roberts, isn't that one of the early chairs that helped to really grow that tournament? You think of Billy Payne a little bit because he helped to, I think, usher in a little bit more exposure, allowing television to do all the holes. Remember, you could only see like 3 or 4 holes when they first started to do it. And then you think of Jack, and you think, honestly, of the ceremony first tee with Gary Player, Jack, and Arnie Palmer. And then you got to think of Tiger, right? I mean, that's really what you think about. Bobby Jones starting it all, and Tiger's the last of those luminaries that you that you equate. If there was a Mount Rushmore in Augusta, those would be, you'd have more than 4, and those would be the guys on it. Am I missing anybody?
No, it pretty well covers it.
Yeah. So obviously that'll be a story we keep our eyes on. I have no idea how much information the hospital in Los Angeles can give because of the HIPAA laws. They are usually very guided. It'll probably come from Mark Steinberg, who did say he was undergoing surgery. I don't know how the LA Times got the compound fractures, but they apparently were able to ascertain that was the injury that they were working on. I think it was Mark Steinberg, the agent, that did say they were non-life-threatening injuries, so we've gotten that so far. Now, to the extent of what he's looking ahead to with rehab or what he's got to go through,
tough road.
That part will be up to Tiger, I guess, and his agency as to how much information they'll really and truly give us on that and the time frame that we get it.
Seatbelt and airbag really matters, people. They're there for a reason.
Yeah.
One you can't help but use when you have enough of an accident. And the other one sure helps you being thrown out of that vehicle.
It sure did for him, because they still had to extract him through the windshield using an axe.
And you could see the airbag obviously deployed.
Yeah. And when you think about it, that car worked. I mean, the safety features on that car kept him inside. It rolled over several times. So compound fractures, if indeed that is it, on the one leg, or, because that's the only thing we know for sure, that is something you can most likely come back from, and you're alive, right? I mean, if you get thrown from the car, you're not going to be alive.
We actually have some more sound rolling in. This is Los Angeles County Fire Chief Daryl Osby talking about responding to the scene and what he saw in regards to Tiger Woods' state at that time.
Okay.
Information I got back from my personnel, and the things that they do is they would do a scene assessment. It was brought to my attention that he was conscious. Now, exactly what was said is unknown, but he was conscious. Our personnel make an assessment to make a determination of their level of consciousness, make sure that they're breathing, control any serious bleeding, and then control and address any serious injuries. It was brought to my attention that he had serious leg injuries, and that was assessed at the incident. The jaws of life are used as part of a package to extricate people that are trapped in vehicles. But it was later determined and brought to the attention that the jaws of life were not used to extricate Tiger Woods. We used a Halligan tool, which is a tool used for prying, and we also used an axe to pry him from the vehicle. He was taken from the vehicle with a collar and backboard for spinal precautions. He had the proper splints. Because of the nature of the incident being a solar vehicle rollover and the fact that it required an extrication that met trauma center criteria, the nearest trauma center to the area is Harbor UCLA Hospital, where he was transported in serious but stable condition.
Serious but stable, not critical. So that's also good news to hear. And
very good.
We thank you,
very
Gabe,
good.
for getting those cuts from
Somebody help me with
Alex
something.
Go ahead.
On Mr. Webster, what is the difference between extricate and extract?
I know of no difference, just a different term.
Either.
Yeah. I don't know.
Extricate sounds like pinned in, and it certainly wasn't in this case, but maybe on fire, and so it definitely wasn't that. And extract, to remove from.
Right. Well, extricate could be a level of more difficulty in extracting somebody from
that he couldn't get out
the vehicle.
himself.
Yeah. And I'm guessing when I say that.
Help us out, Mr. Webster Kuhn.
Weirdly enough, it says to extract is to remove something from its surroundings in general, while to extricate is to remove something from confinement, binding, or difficulty.
Okay, there you go.
That makes sense.
So he was extricated. He was not extracted.
Because he was confined. Absolutely.
Okay. Well,
we got our
normalcy and normality.
I am so glad we got that lesson. I'll be honest with you.
Too.
We needed it. All right. We got to take a time out. When we come back, it'll be time for Taco Bell Crunch Time.
You have opinions?
I think they got a lot of athletic ability.
We want to hear them.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you.
Call us on the First Bank phone line at 360-8255 or text us on the First Bank text line at 67129.
Looking for a great place to deposit your money? Try First Bank. Competitive CD rates, a money market that moves with Wall Street prime and interest-bearing checking account options. Not to mention their friendly bankers who make decisions locally. To find out more, stop by one of First Bank's 3 local branches. 6482 Poplar Avenue, just east of International Paper. 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase. And 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or visit firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC.
I almost never go to Central Barbecue without running into somebody I know.
That could be because you only eat at Central Barbecue.
It's because Central Barbecue is where Memphians go to get barbecue and has consistently been voted the most popular barbecue restaurant among locals.
Actually, that's really saying something.
I know. Memphis is the nation's capital of barbecue. With all the choices, people who live here go to Central Barbecue.
They do get their share of tourists.
Sure, because Central Barbecue has been mentioned on TV and in tons of national publications. You know why?
Because of the great food?
Because those TV shows and magazines look for the place where the locals go, and that, my friend, is Central Barbecue.
All 75 months at 3.04%. Mirage MH 002682. MSRP 16865. G4 MHF 01572. MSRP 18360. Outlander Sport MU 004915. MSRP 24740. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Ready, set, start your new year with a new ride from Gossett Mitsubishi on Covington Pike. Get the hatchback hero in 2021 Mirage, $12,342 or $129 a month. 2021 Mitsubishi Mirage G4, 41 MPG Highway, $13,997 or $149 a month. And jumpstart your journey in 2021 Outlander Sport, $17,938 or $199 a month. And these are not leases. You own your new ride. Plus, you get Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Come on, Muhammad, we hit fame. We easy with the deal, we get insane.
This has been a very, very quick Tuesday. Final portion brought to you by Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and, of course, the famous Free Brewery. That is a month where it's slow, warehouse is full, crews, well, John doesn't want him to sit around. He wants to spark some business, so what does he do? He gives away a gas furnace absolutely free if you purchase a standard Carrier air conditioning system. You've heard me right. Purchase a Carrier air conditioning system in the month of Free Brewery. You get a gas furnace for absolutely nada, nothing. Zilch. Oh, I love those words. You're also going to get more because it's Free Brewery, right? So you're going to get an April air cleaner free. You're going to get a 10-year parts warranty. That's complimentary. And you're going to get a free Nest thermostat. That's about $2,000 worth of freebies, and that Nest thermostat is really state-of-the-art. And you're going to get 12 months interest-free. Thus the name Free Brewery. And you'll always get the Conway award-winning service every time you call 384-3511. Make that call to get the free gas furnace. 384-3511. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and Free Brewery. It is now officially Taco Bell crunch time.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is for all the biggest crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye!
Boop! Choo-choo!
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
It's obviously crunch time. Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
On one, on two, on three. Hey!
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day. Dave, we learned once again today, both whether it's hard news or whether it's in the sports world, and today crossed over into both, what breaking news is really all about. I think it's overdone sometimes on the TV cables. Everything's breaking news when it's not always, but today was breaking news, and there were some reporters out there today that I thought really excelled. I mentioned Jimmy Roberts from Golf Channel, Scott Van Pelt from ESPN, others, Bob Costas on right now as we speak on CNN, really distinguishing themselves as what they are, reporters, journalists, and more than just entertainers. They can do it all, and they did it all well today. And some, on the other hand, I thought were really reckless. We haven't mentioned it a time. We haven't speculated one single time today, but others speculating about some of the Tigers' past troubles being involved today when they had absolutely zero proof of it.
Yeah. As a little addendum to that, you learn, and if you love this business, you learn early on when you're in journalism school or broadcast school, there are 5 W's. And the very first one is who. Who, what, when, where, and why. Those are the 5 W's of journalism. Who is the most important? When anybody hears it's Tiger Woods, make no mistake about it, it's important to them. It is news. We also learned today.
Well said.
Thank you. We also learned today Houston Rockets center DeMarcus Cousins has been waived.
Who?
Boogie. Boogie's been waived.
I kid.
Yeah, the move.
Remember when I was big on Boogie? Did they end up being right or wrong?
You know what? I think he's a classic example of a guy who's really going to be good but just got injured. He
was getting ready to have a big old truckload of money.
Oh, he was.
He got injured at the worst time.
He did get a break. I mean, the Rockets were nice to him. They gave him a $2.3 million guarantee just last week as a token of gratitude, and now he's off.
That's a parting gift compared to what he lost, though.
Oh, it is. But you want to get rid of me for $2.3 million? Just tell me. and I'm happy to acquiesce. He may end up.
You could say all the untrue or true things about me, and I wouldn't mind.
He was right.
And sadly, most of them are true.
He may end up with the L.A. Lakers when all this is said and done. That would be good. $2.3 million and maybe a ring. That'd be pretty good for Boogie Cousins.
Everybody gets a ring there, don't they?
Yeah.
Could have done without, and I love him, and I do love him, and I want it to work out, but I've been worried about it almost from the beginning. Tony La Russa already having to meet individually with players and clear the air a little bit on the south side, whether it's spring training. Chi Sox shortstop, and he's a great one. Tim Anderson met with Tony La Russa 34 years after the White Sox fired him. He's trying to reinvigorate the White Sox. He's just 35 wins away from being the second winningest manager. He's not going to catch Connie Mack. He could live 2 more lifetimes and not do that.
But he'll get to number 2.
I don't know if he'll get to 35 though. We'll see. I think he needs a great April just to everybody settle down in Chicago.
He will. I think he will. That meeting with Tim Anderson, see, I took it a whole different way. That was to try to make sure he's on board with everything. And Tim Anderson came out of there and said, "Oh yeah, I'm ready to play for the guy." That was a great meeting.
He did say all the right things.
Yeah,
he sure did.
I felt really good about that. I guess I could have done without this thing called being TMI, too much information. Did you see Colin Cowherd had a little podcast with Joe Buck, and Joe admitted that he started doing this in baseball. He was so nervous doing playoff games on TV, which you wouldn't think, but he was, that he would have a guy bring up a beer and he would sip on the beer. And then it carried over, and that he and Troy Aikman do tequila sometimes during broadcasts.
Drink a beer? His dad, Mike Shannon,
well, I know.
A beer.
I know. One was light for them. But how about him and Aikman doing tequila?
A beer and inning for the
tequila for NFL games? My goodness.
Dave, even in my drinking days, I never could drink tequila because it would make my clothes fall off.
That's what she told me. I heard that.
Keeping a close eye tonight on a lot. Must win tonight for Michigan State against Illinois. Must win for Josh Pastner and Georgia Tech at Virginia Tech. St. John's must win, and a good one in the Big 12. KU in Texas, and we'll keep an eye on Ole Miss at Mizzou.
And UConn and Georgetown, too, because we want Georgetown to win that game for sure. We thank Ron Tillery, Brent Beard, Bo Marchant. This has been a lot of fun. We'll do it again tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody.
It may be cold outside, but your deals keep getting hotter and hotter.